Okay. We'll start the show in just a moment or two, folks. So welcome. It is Saturday, January 27th. We're going to do the Dave's Gone By program live right here from UNC. Everything's working. Things are still here. I'm still here. So welcome. Come join us. Oh, actually, the song fades out naturally. I think the bridge version of the song is okay, you ready for the show proper to begin?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. There goes the neighborhood. And there was much rejoicing.
Didn't your meds kick in yet?
You got David Lefkowitz here. He's a Long Island arts guy. He's got his own radio show.
I want you all to really enjoy a wonderful program done by a fine artist.
A glorious thing of unparalleled beauty.
Dave's Gone By. Dave is one of my very favorite broadcasters, so keep on listening to Mr. Dave.
I should mark down all these people who are logging in because I see where the games go.
It's a good idea.
Tropical hot dog night. Like two flamingos in a fruit fight. Every color of day.
Oh,
Who's around at night? I'm playing this music.
I'll see.
So a young girl can come out.
Maybe if I come back later in the day, I'm
To
running.
make a monster tonight.
I gotta run to the library.
Tropical hot dog night.
Well, there goes the neighborhood. Good morning, everybody. Happy last Saturday of January. Can we believe we're almost a full month through with 2018 already? Oh my God, I forgot Potato. I'm so sorry, Potato. Of the Dave's Gone By radio program of the air, the Potato program of the air, of course, here in the neighborhood in Greeley, Colorado. He's got a special Robert Preston hat on today. I don't know why. But welcome, everybody. Welcome all these folks who are joining us in the neighborhood for the Dave's Gone By radio program of the air, which is still a radio program of the air. Now, I warned everybody, and this is the truth, that because of budget cutting at this university, this radio station is probably not long for this world. Or, what is that, the toilet sound? And it was supposed to sort of end yesterday. But there's been some sort of delay. So we're still here. Not only are we Facebook, which we will, potato, another potato, yay. It's a double potato morning. So not only are we doing our regular Facebook program that we've been doing in the past 3 months, but we're still streaming. So if you have folks who don't belong to Facebook, it may still be in the car.
Okay.
But if you know folks who can listen only audio, we still have our UNC audio stream. Go to my website, davesgoneby.com, and you can find how to listen either via Streama or via, the 50/50 server room thing. So yay, at least for one more week, everything's still normal here. Well, as normal as Dave's Gone By is ever going to be. It is our 638th episode of the program. And by the way, welcome to all the folks who are listening on Facebook, watching us on Facebook. We got Kenneth and Alain and Janine, who's not Janine Garofalo. Yeah.
Are you sure?
She said it again. She's like, happy Saturday, Dave. Love. She gave me a little green heart. Not Garofalo in Vegas.
She should probably say, I've never heard that before.
Right. She wrote it. She said it.
But I'm sure she's heard that all her life. Yeah.
Well, no, back in the day, she was probably, are you Janine Turner from Northern Exposure?
She could be like the real Janine, I'm the real MC rapper, I'm the real, so she'd be like, I'm the real
Janine.
All the others are haters and imitators.
Well, there's no haters and imitators of Bob and John and Kat Ann And Chris, oh my God, Chris from my high school at
David,
Bondi. Yeah.
Whenever you do that, it reminds me of Romper Room, where she'd hold up the magic mirror
Yeah.
and she'd say, "I see David, and I see Paul, and I see Fred."
So she would hold
and
this up
Cindy,
to.
yeah. And she would pretend like she'd see you in the mirror, like recognize you as a child.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was awesome.
The Helmet kids loved that.
I loved it.
Did you liked what Romper Room?
I loved everything.
Really?
I love Romper Room.
I could never get into Romper Room. Couldn't get into. There were
I
a
like
couple
the
of
green
things.
jeans, Captain Kangaroo.
Never
I
liked
was always
Captain
fascinated
Kangaroo.
by his hair. I'm like, why is he wearing a hair helmet and why is he with that farmer? Like, it
I know.
disturbed me. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're like in like Brooklyn and they have like a farm. That just didn't.
And the Magic Garden didn't do it for me.
Oh, I love it. Won't you come to the magical garden?
Yeah.
And that's
Well, Carol Demas has been
but
on the
that
show. Yeah.
pink squirrel. I think they were all on the marijuana because the pink squirrel was like a figment of their imagination.
I did
I never
watch.
thought he was real.
Do you remember New Zoo Review? That was on acid. That was That was a giant frog on acid. I'm telling you.
I think everybody who wrote that stuff must have been high.
Probably. Well,
Look
Puffin
at-
stuff was. Oh, it was actually
It's
pretty.
pretty.
Joyce wrote a big note on our board that was sort of saying, how come we're spending
Yeah.
money on so many things at this
Yeah.
university, but not things that are important?
It's like you have to value stuff, you know.
Yeah. But then she raised it because, so now this purple
Because
swirl.
to quote one of these horrible 80s songs, my cries would fall on deaf ears, right?
No kidding.
So
Not to mention ears that are going to be leaving the university in 3 months. So kind of moot. Anywho.
look,
Well, I'm just grateful that today,
I'm like,
you know who was on?
Who?
#1 fan, Pam.
Ham, woohoo!
As are Richard and Ron. I wrote these down before. Miles, Tom, David, Tony, and I cannot call her
Brucey?
Miriam.
Brucey?
No, who?
Brucey?
Oh no, I haven't seen Bruce.
Bruce, wake up,
Mrs.
Bruce!
V.
Bruce, it's time to get up, Bruce. It's 9:07. What time is it in the U.S.?
But it's 11 o'clock.
Oh,
He's still
Bruce,
sleeping.
come on, Bruce, get your coffee. Time to wake up,
Come on,
Bruce.
Klugs and Raymond Hermio, welcome.
Wake up, Bruce.
So everybody, and please send me messages. I'm not sure I can read them yet, but I can certainly read them. I have 2 comments. James and Laney and a couple of other folks. I just can't read
What'd
everything.
they say?
And it just says I have 2 comments, but if I start
Whoa.
mucking with it, I'll screw up everything.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But we've got an amazing show for you today, and as I said, it's a perfectly classic, normal.
What's
Dave's
the
Gone
name of
By
the
show.
show? I forgot.
This one is going to be called Bright Shadows.
Ooh, that's very surreal.
Well, you know why we're calling it Bright
I think we
Shadows?
should call it Witches' Sabbath. That's my theme.
Or in honor of Rabbi Saul, which is Shabbos.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Because Rabbi Saul is going to be with us, Rabbi Saul Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of
For the
Temple Sons of
shadow, I'm going
Bitches.
to be interview.
He's going to be interviewing an actress named Marie Wallace.
Tell me again. I'm bad with names, David. Please help me.
Yeah, Marie Wallace.
Yeah.
Actually, can you take a couple of those CDs out of it? So it's I don't know why it's so high.
It's because it's Colorado.
The equipment here that we've got, Joyce's mic doesn't have a real mic stand, so it's just stacked up on CDs.
Oh, here we go. Look, he's like ratings 4. Someone rated this that
A
they
4.
got,
Let me see. Oh, I
and
can
it
hold it up.
says
Yeah.
recommended tracks 1, 4, and 7. Sounds like Alana's,
Oh.
I guess Bono vocals with Chili Peppers guitar. I guess at one point they were rating
Yeah.
things.
Remember when we actually had people working at the radio station and
Wow.
caring about this place?
Yeah.
Sigh. But I
I
do
know.
care that Rabbi Saul is going to be here, and he'll be
Say
talking.
who she is. You didn't say
Yeah.
the lady.
An actress named Marie Wallace.
I thought she was cabaret.
No.
No?
Marie Wallace. She has acted for, decades now. Best known
Yeah.
for a show that I admit I never saw a full episode of,
What?
but it was a gothic
Ooh,
cult TV show
scary.
called Dark Shadows.
Ooh,
Remember that?
That's scary.
With Jonathan Frid as Barnabas and all of that. And she played 3 different characters over the course of that 2 or 3 seasons, or however many seasons Dark Shadows was on. And it remains a cult.
Did she like that?
show.
Dark Shadows has a very big cult following.
She still
I
goes
wonder if
to.
she was afraid. Like
she
if
still goes to these
it,
trade shows. and
because I
things.
would get afraid if I acted. Some of that stuff was really creepy. And
Oh no, she.
she wasn't afraid.
We'll find. I mean, she wrote an autobiography, and she loved
Mm.
because she got to play crazy people.
No, but I would be afraid. Like you're doing some scary stuff.
You know what TV is like. You're doing like
I don't
10
know.
seconds of a shot,
Oh.
then going into your trailer for half an
I don't know
hour,
what
and
TV
then
is like.
you come out and then you're covered with blood. I mean, it's not the same as watching it.
I'm
in-
sure she has a lot of. Does she do a lot of backstage chatter, like what's going on?
Well,
Yeah.
backstage, let me tell you,
That's
girl.
what I'm wondering.
Let me tell you,
yeah,
girl.
what happened?
Backstage,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she's known for Dark Shadows, fabulous,
Yeah.
and she's in a
Is she
one-act.
one of the Scream Queens?
No,
You know, the
no,
movie-
no, no.
Ah,
Well,
okay.
she did play a couple of crazy
Yeah,
people in
yeah,
Dark
yeah.
Shadows, but
Yeah.
here's the deal. This is the great thing.
What?
First of all, she's appearing right now off-Broadway in a one-act play being done by Renaissance Theater Works that you guys can go see now
Awesome.
through the middle of February.
I
We'll
wish
tell you
we
more
could
about
go.
that.
Let's go see it.
Let's go see it. But she was in the original cast on Broadway of Gypsy
Was
with
she?
my mom.
So which one was she? Which daughter?
And by the way, I am not a homosexual. I just want to put that out there right now, just to say I appear metrosexual at the moment because of my love of theater, but I am straight. That's my wife. Anyway,
That's why you don't see me, because I'm a dude.
but she wasn't Gypsy, and in the original Sweet Charity with Gwen Verdon,
She was a Broadway star who went over to the theater.
she wasn't a
I went
star,
over
but
to-
she had good
yeah,
roles.
yeah, those are pretty. Those are pretty. Listen, most actors watching this, if they got any of that caliber role, they would quit their Starbucks job. You
No
know?
kidding. And she worked with people like Robert Preston and people like
Whoa.
Boulay. And I
Is
mean,
she silly or is she very serious in the internet? Will she be serious?
I don't know. I haven't heard it.
no, yeah.
She's going to be talking not to me, unfortunately, but to the great Rabbi Saul Solomon. So it'll be
that's
Marie
never
Wallace
a good sign. That's never a good sign.
talking all about theater and TV
Wow.
and her current life and stuff. The wonderful Marie Wallace is going to be with us in the neighborhood in just a little while,
Awesome.
talking to Rabbi Saul. So that's why we're calling it
That's
Bright
awesome.
Shadows.
Yeah.
Our 638th episode in the neighborhood. We're here at the University of Northern Colorado in Greeley, Colorado. They have not torn apart the
But
studio
it's
yet.
infinity because it's 7:38.
638.
6:38, so that's 9 and 8 is 17. 17 is 8, and 8 is
A is the
infinity.
universal
Yeah.
thingy of.
That's
of-
great. Strong
Yeah.
way to end.
If we're ending,
Yeah,
you keep
well,
saying like this is the
No,
last
but
one.
you're ending in this manifestation, and you will
Yeah.
live on the Facebook Live.
Well, last week's was supposed to be the last one of normalcy because the radio
I
station
would
was
not
supposed to
use
shut
that word
down yesterday.
normalcy
Yeah,
even
right.
at all. I would not quantify anything we do as
No,
normal.
our stream and all the stuff was supposed to kind of be postponed and stopped last night. So that's why I'm pleasantly surprised that we still have our regular radio
Yeah,
stream.
good.
We're certainly not stopping Dave's Gone By no matter what. We're going
Never.
to stay on Facebook. I'm exploring some other opportunities.
Like
as-
what? Yeah,
like-
like exotic dancing,
No, like other universities that
potting?
are decent.
potting,
What is potting?
podcasting. I don't know.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know, I
well-
don't know these terminologies like
No, all right, podcasting. Yeah, well, we
I don't know
are.
what it's called, potting or something.
Actually, we've been podcasting for years now.
yeah,
We take the archives.
podcasting.
Yeah, but show the people what CD that is.
No,
That's
I'm just
got the
looking through it.
pores.
I don't know. It's very strange.
Okay. Anyway, so that's part of what we're doing on Dave's Gone By today. We will also go inside Broadway for a little bit to talk about the Broadway theater. And we'll have our Saturday segue of songs in the news. I love doing this. It's where we play a couple of songs, and you have to think, hey, why is Dave playing those? What do those have to do with stuff that's going on in the world at large? And by the way, welcome to Lana and Paul and Marcus and Lorraine, who has the longest name I have ever heard.
What?
Oh, Lorraine, can I say your whole name?
No, don't
just
say
leave a
it.
message. And
Is it her real name or maybe it's her
I don't know. She has a Russian male name in there in the middle of it,
she's just working it.
but also an Italian name on the end of it.
Good
But
for
welcome,
her.
Lorraine.
Good for her.
And welcome to everybody else who's watching us. Oh, okay. Joyce is going to go to the Twiggy, which lets me remind you that you only keep tabs on what the show is doing and where we're going forward. Remember that davesgoneby.com is still working, still extant, still fabulous. Goneby.com. You can drop me an email, davesgoneby@aol.com. And our Facebook page, of course, is Radio Dave Lefkowitz. Radio Dave Lefkowitz. Very happy to have you with us. And thank you, by the way, to so many folks who sent me birthday wishes over the past week. My birthday was on Tuesday. I turned 54 years old. I was going to say if you can believe it, but you can believe it. So I'm 54 years old, and I had my birthday on Tuesday. And because I have about 4,400 followers, likers on Facebook now, and because I make an effort as best I can almost every day to remember to go on and wish people on Facebook a happy birthday. So if there are friends on here I'll take a moment, and I admit I'm lazy as hell. It's copy paste. I'll write happy birthday exclamation point once. And it's like copy paste. Like, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. And it still takes like 3-4 minutes out of my life to do that every day. But I think it's nice. Yeah, people remember you. They think of you for a second to go, oh, it's so-and-so's birthday? Happy birthday. I don't even know who you are, but happy birthday. So when people did that to me this past Tuesday, it was kind of nice. It was cool, and I appreciate it. And it's fun to see literally about 450 or 500 people wishing me a happy. And, and then unfortunately I realized, well, I should acknowledge that they're wishing me a happy birthday. So my computer was slow that day, and now I have to go through all of these and like load up 10 at a time on Facebook and go, thumbs up, and wait for like half a minute for the thing to load for 10 more to go, thumbs up. And occasionally people would write more than happy birthday. I should write a personal message, and those I would try to respond to personally. But really, thank you so much. And Janine, who's from Vegas and is not Janine Garofalo or Janine Turner, says happy belated birthday. Thank you so much. But yeah, and it's been a pretty weird, altogether mostly good kind of a week. I had a nice birthday. The missus and I went out to dinner and had a very nice time of it. We went. I'm waiting for her to come back from Toity so we can talk about it. But we went locally to Gourmet Grub, which has been around for a couple of months now, and we've just never gone there. We used to go for breakfast when it was Randy's and then the Grill. Nobody can seem to make a go of that place anymore. So on my birthday, we went to Gourmet Grub, which is kind of a scratch kitchen-y place, despite the name Grub in there. And it was, what did you think of the place, Beth?
You gave me a lot of salad.
Yeah, we ordered
oh my God,
full-size salad rather than the...
Yeah, that's why when the waitress said, do you want a full, are you sure? And I should have said no. That was a cue. That was a cue.
Well, that was your only entree.
I know, but it was huge.
For all you know, the appetizer salad might have been too small.
Like when I went to the hotel downtown, their salads were super small. So I didn't know. I should have said, what like, show me the size bowl. That would have... Yeah, because it was also, it was a ton of salad and also a ton of feta cheese on there. No, it was gorgonzola because I don't eat the ham, so they switched out the gorgonzola. Yeah. It was delicious, but I shouldn't have had an appetizer. What was I thinking? They gave me like a full...
It was my birthday. We wanted to order an appy.
Gigantic. You should have just eaten your... I didn't eat... The appetizer filled me, and then you had that...
well, you couldn't eat my appetizer. Mocha. I had the duck empanada.
Oh, yeah.
Which was very tasty, gotta say. And I had... They had a delicious...
Corn chowder dressing you liked.
Oh, hell yeah. That was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was sweet. It was surprisingly sweet with the empanada.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then you had a lamb with some mint.
I had a lamb steak with kind of a mint pesto. I'm not, because the pesto had cheese in it, I'm not that big on cheese, but the lamb steak was perfect.
And you love the homemade French potato chips. No, they know they're like eczema.
We came up with a new thought on this.
They're eczema,
yeah. Because we used to be very worried when we talked about eating French fries or hash browns, and potatoes would be around and they'd be very offended. They'd be upset by this.
Of course, it's like cannibalism to them.
But then Joyce, it occurred to her that French fries are actually potato shit.
Poops, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
And then like maybe the potato chips are like eczema for them.
Right.
You know, like they're not bad, and like hash browns are when they have a bad tummy ache and they make not
hash browneria.
Yeah, either way it could be. So maybe that's a better way of looking at it.
Yeah, so now they're not upset because we used to tell them that French fries were made from dead potatoes. They were dead already.
Or tofu, and they knew that wasn't
they
true.
knew
Even they knew.
Yeah. God, what's wrong with us? Anyway, welcome to Mark and Valerie and Stephen. But the one thing I will warn you about Gourmet Grub. We went on a Tuesday evening.
No, but that was our fault. We'll tell them the back. So we used to go there when it was the grill, and we loved the woman. I guess she was the co-owner. She was a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And we used to sit near the window. But we used to do that at like 10 a.m. when the sun was full blast. So
in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
But it was a Tuesday evening. It was a cold night.
And I told you, let's move over.
I know, but we wanted our usual table.
Yeah.
So we sit at our usual boothy table and the problem is it becomes a wind tunnel when you're in that restaurant.
That's why they have the roundabout door, the door that is a roundabout.
But anytime anybody came in or out, I just got this. I was literally shivering at the table, and it made my meat It made my meat cold, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen.
we could go next time. We could sit in the inside.
Maybe sit anywhere else, but
Or
just don't
that's why
sit
most
straight down
people
the
probably
line.
sit on the side near the bathroom, that side, because they don't get that wind.
Yeah.
I just wanted to sit there too, because there were a few kids and stuff,
I
and I
know.
knew it would be
There's
noisy.
a screaming
yeah.
baby and all that.
So I think, but
So
next
apart
time,
from that issue, which
we
I
could
guess
sit by
they
the
could solve.
kitchen. Where we
Yeah.
used to sit by the kitchen, that part would be
That'd be
protected
great.
by the wind and warm. Yeah.
Yeah. So overall,
Yeah.
big thumbs up for Gourmet Grub. Just don't sit
Yeah.
where we sat. And also,
we'll do it, but not at night. Yeah.
and people complain, if you look on Yelp and other places, it gets generally really good reviews, but
Yeah.
they say a couple of people complained about the portions. I don't know what
Yeah.
they ordered or what their
Well,
portions
you
were.
know
Ours
what?
were
You know
fine.
what I think, because it's all a la carte. That's why. So think about it. Normally, when you go to like a diner, you get meat, veggie, and starch, right? So you get a whole plate of stuff. And most people don't understand that. Most restaurants, you order everything separately, right? So if you just order that steak with no side dish, you're not going to be full.
Well,
So
you
that's
are.
what I think
Well,
they're gonna.
yeah,
That's what
maybe.
I think they're talking about.
Yeah.
That you need to, side dish up.
And it is annoying. I mean, I told this story of Restaurant Week in New York.
Oh,
Because
I know.
Restaurant Week in Denver's coming up in a couple of weeks, and then you've got
Awesome.
Restaurant Week in New York as well. But I went years ago to one of the first Restaurant Weeks, and it allowed me to go to, it was Smith and Walensky's over on East 50-something
wow,
Street, I think it
yeah.
was. Because they're known for their steaks. I
Yeah.
love steak. And I was like, I'm going to treat myself to good steak. And back in the time, it was probably
60.
$20.02 because it might have been 2002.
Yeah.
It was their Restaurant Week. And they say, you get this great, fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Order the steak that's on their special Restaurant Week menu. And the guy says, well, do you want mashed potatoes? The waiter says, do you want mashed potatoes? Or do you want, I don't know, might have been broccoli or asparagus or something else like that, or coleslaw, whatever. And I said, well, okay, mashed potatoes. Now, he never intimated, never said that wasn't included. It's a side.
No.
He's like, hey, but I didn't say, and I didn't occur to me to ask if it was extra.
Of course.
So I paid $20-something for this steak,
Yeah.
and it comes with the mashed potatoes, which are decent.
Yeah.
You know, it was $7.50
I know.
for mashed potatoes.
So most places you go to that are like quote unquote high end,
Yeah.
you have to purchase everything a la carte, and that's why you should. What I would put on the menu, I would say a la carte. Everything is purchased separately.
Yeah, but as a waiter,
Yeah.
don't, especially on Restaurant Week, ask me, do you want this or that with that?
No, but they don't get, like, most of the time, I think if they're students, they'll say it because they know money's tight. They'll say, if you get that, there's an upcharge or something. Like, they'll say it.
And it wasn't a
Yeah,
student. It was some
Well,
waiter guy who'd
The
been there
waiter
30 years.
The waiter probably wanted the tip
No
money.
kidding.
So, yeah.
And unfortunately, me being, I probably tipped him anyway, even though I should have held back and said, the $7 I would have given you for a tip?
Yeah. No, but what you could do now, it's like Yelp it,
Now. Yeah, we're
I
talking-
know.
I was working for Playboy magazine back then,
Wow.
if you can imagine. I think it was that part
I
back.
didn't know you then. I'm glad.
Thanks, dear. Thank you, darling. Anyway, welcome. Listen, do we have more? We have Howard and Sarah and Matt and Mercedes. Welcome to the
Mercedes.
neighborhood. Mercedes. See. Because she's watching this vehicle of entertainment.
Oh,
we have here
I
on
don't have my.
Games Online.
Let's see what I have.
Oh, wait, you've got the boingy noise.
I don't have everything else.
Oh, that sounded like a plumbus.
I don't know.
We're using that plumbus very, very well.
Thank you.
So what else do we I want to talk about the radio station
Really
because I'm
crimes and
happy
old
at the moment.
times. Really crimes and old
Yeah,
times.
I'm just cue that up. So one of the things that we do is a segment called Really Crimes and Old Times, and it has an opening just like this. That sounded filthy.
Why don't you put the other thing on potato? Because I got skates and the hat. The other guy's got nothing. I'm going to take these and put them on too. It looks like a custard
So I put, because one potato was jealous here because he had both skates and a special
No, they're not
Robert
jealous.
Preston
They like
hat.
to share.
Well, yeah, but now the other potato's wearing the special happy red hat, except Joyce says he looks like a festering sore.
It's like a
He doesn't look like a
pimple.
festering
It
sore.
looks
That's
like
not
a
nice.
pimple that needs to be popped.
Anyway,
Here,
Greeley
here.
Crimes and All
I'm
yeah.
going to share my fortune that I got last night
Oh,
with
yeah.
you. Here's your fortune.
Because Joyce and her friend went to Ambrosia,
Yeah.
which you said was very, very good.
I enjoyed it because I put veggies with my noodles. I just don't like all those noodles without veggies. It was great.
Yeah. I've never had a bad meal there. I want to go back there too. Oh yeah, yeah, it's really good. So, happiness is enjoying what you got, never from what you want. That's really interesting.
Yeah. Be happy with what you
Those
have.
kind of fortunes I usually get.
Yeah. That's for you, David.
Happiness is for you, happiness is a warm puppy. Come to think of it.
For me, happiness would be being left alone to meditate with no people and just having
Not
people,
even her husband, by the
and
way.
having people serve me healthy food, and I could just sit and meditate.
Mhm.
That would be my happiness.
Mine would be the same, except I would be meditating between like 3 or 4 naked co-eds. That would be happiness
I'm
and
going to throw
joy.
something at you, but there's nothing to
There's
throw.
nothing to throw. They've
Hold
taken
on,
away
I'll
all the
put something.
baseballs. So there. Meh. Greeley Crimes and All Times. Let me explain to you while Joyce gets ready to hurl projectiles at me. Hello, and we don't even care if we break the equipment now because the radio station is dead. So, Greeley Crimes and All Times has to do and welcome Jeff. Jeff, my office semi-co-mate at UNC. Hello, Jeff, and hello to Aaron Lee. Greeley Crimes and All Times. Let me at least say what that is. In the Greeley Tribune newspaper, our local newspaper here, there are 2 weekly columns. One of them is called Greeley, Cop Log, where phone calls that come into Greeley and Weld Police Dispatch are collated, and the funny ones go into the newspaper once a week. And also there's Greeley 100 years ago, where an old fella named Mike Peters grabs the newspapers from 1917 and 1918 and finds the weirdest, funniest, most nostalgic stories to tell. And John, this is so cool. John logged on to say, "Hi, Dave. Did I miss Marie Wallace?" No, you haven't. No. She'll be on probably in about 45 minutes or
She's
so.
going to tell you
So hang with us.
everything.
Yeah, she's going to be great. I promise that. So, are you ready to do some Greeley Crimes and All Times, babe?
She's scary. I think it's.
What? What are you talking
This
about?
stuff's going to be scary.
No, because of Dark Shadows?
Yeah.
No.
Ooh.
We're not actually going to enact Dark Shadows.
Yes,
It was just a TV show she was in. Anyway, all right. Our first Greeley crime, from the cop log, as it were.
Okay.
Police received a call from a fast food restaurant on 47th Avenue. The caller reported a man who ordered a smoothie.
Wait, where? 42nd?
47th Avenue.
Okay.
And I didn't take down the cross street, but it's 47th Avenue. It's probably Centera area. The caller reported a man who ordered a smoothie, but he was upset about the smoothie.
Why?
And he refused to leave the drive-thru.
That's my worst nightmare. This is my nightmare. Like
Yeah.
It's like you're back in New York or New Jersey toll booths where people don't have money and they stop the whole line.
Yeah.
That would be my nightmare. That you're just hungry, you want yourself a snack, and some poor dude or dudette is like just parked.
Yep.
And drive-thru's supposed to be faster, and that's
Or
bad.
people back in the day have there's still toll booths,
Yeah.
but you get by the one who's counting the pennies or
Easy
drops
Pass,
the money.
remember Easy?
Yeah.
The funniest thing, do you remember we watched Ridiculousness and somebody was high and they were trying to order takeout food like through a drive-thru, but they were talking into the garbage can and they didn't know why the person wouldn't take their order.
By the way, John says thanks. So hang with us, John, as Marie will be here. And Jeff, our office mate neighbor person, says, "How can I then return in happy plight that am debarred in the benefit of rest?" That's from a Shakespearean sonnet. I have no idea what the hell that means. Let me see. How can I then return? And I'm supposed to be the English
He's
guy.
talking about the happiness. You're the fortune cookie.
Debarred is a good word. That am debarred the benefit of rest.
Ask him when you see him treat it as in the original English dialect.
I need some Swedish. Actually.
Swedish?
Yeah. Is it sonnet?
Wasn't DeBarge a group in the 80s?
It wasn't.
They had a lot of Jerry Curls of group.
If you get off a boat, you have debarge.
Yeah.
But this is debarred.
Oh,
That was Pamela. Actually, there were 2 things. There was debarge. And then wasn't there Pamela DeBar? She was like a groupie who was sleeping with everything and everyone.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't want that disgusting from the
As a matter of fact, when she went to the gynecologist, she didn't pass the DeBar exam. I need noise for that.
We don't have anything. I have one noise
Play
maker.
the cartoon noise. There you go. Okay, that's good.
TikTok tiddly too.
Police re-
TikTok tiddly too.
Police received the call. Oh, I don't know if there's any alerts today, so we don't. The bell is in there, but
Well, we don't really have much to.
Yeah. Police received a call from 18th Street and 74th Avenue.
Wow.
Ooh. A number of plastic pink flamingos
Oh.
appeared on the front lawn of the caller's house.
Oh, I like that.
And the caller wanted police to investigate. It's not like they were stolen. This caller had a house
Well,
with
you
a
don't
lawn
know. Maybe they were.
from somebody. But
Yeah.
but the
I
idea
think that's
is,
awesome. It's like
yeah.
a flash mob.
I invite anybody.
No. You'd like little marmots. Our HOA doesn't permit that.
Oh,
You could have maybe a marmot.
one of that cute little stone marbles.
What happened to the stone marmots I bought you?
What did I do with
They
them?
used to
I
be on the kitchen table. I don't see them.
Yeah. I wonder if I packed them away somewhere because we're trying to clean up a little bit.
Yeah.
Or we're thinking of moving or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Or maybe try are they in the cabinet under the TV? Did I move them there?
I don't know.
Oh, boy.
That's sad.
Where
Maybe
have
they're
our stone
hibernating.
marmots? That could, right, it's winter, of
It's
course.
winter.
Yeah. Police received a call from the Glenmere Park area.
Uh-oh.
We know that very well. The caller's dog was missing. Caller was afraid somebody stole it. An officer, however, recently found the dog, quote, swimming in a lake chasing geese. And the officer told the caller at which shelter the dog could be found.
Yeah, my friend's dog. The dog had passed, but she said she used to walk her dog on Bittersweet, and he got out under the fence, and they found him. He was in Bittersweet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they found him. He's so happy.
I don't know how animal control does that job. I don't know, when you have an animal that can go a certain number of miles per hour, is tiny, is faster
I
than
think
a
it's
human.
called beef jerky. They just use treats, like,
Or a net, like
they use like when
yeah.
the one time they were chasing the pit bull that the kids had let loose.
Yeah.
And apparently it bit someone, and I was walking, and he came to me, and I just said sit, and he sat, and they're like, grab him, and I didn't know what was going on.
You grab him.
No, but then I looked behind me, and it's like some lady with like wearing like they wear all the like the keychain. She's got the flashlight. She's got like a lasso kind of thing, and then some dude running behind her, and I'm like,
he should have a taser.
No, but I'm like, listen, if they would have done it, I could have grabbed his collar. He was sitting there. He was docile. But I think that when you're chasing an animal, remember when you had that riding group party years ago, and there was a mom in a big truck and two little girls running in the street. And then I saw the little dog, and he stopped, and I picked it up. Yeah. And I said to them, don't chase him because he thinks you're playing a game. You can't chase the animal, But I could have got if I would have had like a lasso like they had, I could have got him. And then they kept running down. It was like a 19, sketch. Yeah.
I just think in terms of that whole thing of, well, he's not even fit to be dog catcher. If you have a politician who's running it, I know you're not even qualified to be dog catcher. And I'm like, you tried being a dog catcher.
No, but the problem is when my friend lost her dog, they don't open till 11. We called them when we found the dog near Target. Remember that little dog? People, they don't come. They don't. It's like I had to call ASPCA, or I had to call I called 15 people about that lost dog, and I'm like. Yeah. It was so.
I just don't know how you can be in a van.
Yeah. No,
even spot a dog yards away.
They get a call and they're on foot.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, they were on foot. The lady and the guy were both on foot.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Cool. I don't know how they do it. I really.
If they would have given me a lasso, I could have got that pit in 5 seconds.
Okay. All right. Okay. You. What was that? That alligator wrestler? The guy used to find alligators in Florida and deal with them, or crocodiles maybe.
Yeah,
Anywho.
Crazy.
Want to remind you and warn you this winter that all persons skating on the large reservoirs in Weld County, such as Windsor, are subject to a thorough search.
Oh, God.
This is to prevent German spies from secretly contaminating the waters of the reservoirs.
Oh, my God.
Well, the more things changed. Remember during the, after 9/11, and what was that? That sarin and the...
Oh, yeah, the botulinum.
Yeah, and what was that other, the thing that they were sending?
Anthrax.
Anthrax, right. And we were worried about the water supplies, which will be the next terror attack.
Yeah, I would have a better plan, but that's just me.
Yeah, I just go into open spaces and fart. That's worse.
But how is that different than what you do now?
People just
Would you announce it then? Because you do it now.
No, I wouldn't. I would.
You go in the supermarket and you go into the next aisle full of people and you do it.
Yeah, and I'd be like Al Qaeda. I'd go home and then take credit on social media.
That was mine.
That fart was mine. More is coming unless the hostages are.
My wife is making beans. It's beans and chili this evening.
And I'm having heavy whipped cream ice cream for dessert. So unless you obey me and do my version of Sharia law, more farts are
and
coming.
You could get Olestra. Remember that thing that makes people gassy?
Yeah.
Like that could be your,
No, didn't Olestra make people do more than gas? Olestra was it was nasty. Police received a call from 9th Avenue.
Oh, it's in your 8th and 8th, the vortex of...
Close to 8th and 8th. This is 9th.
Uh-huh.
The caller said a woman who appeared to be running someone just knocked on the door.
What does running someone mean?
Running from someone.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. The caller did
Probably
not...
from 8th and 8th.
But this is beautiful. So this woman was running away from
Yeah.
knocks on this guy's door. The caller's door.
I wouldn't let people in. You don't know what's going on.
Caller did not know the woman's name, but said, quote, she looked like a Trisha.
I love it.
It's like
She looks like a Maybelline.
No
How do
idea
you
who
look
she
like a
is,
Trisha?
She's Trisha-esque.
Like what point of reference is that for the police?
I know, the caller did not speculate on the last name.
Trisha. Well, that's good.
It's a possible Trisha kind of person.
You know what? But if you said Holly Hobby or maybe Mindy from Mork and Mindy, that's a cultural reference.
You used to say this girl that I worked with at the Voldemort place looked like Holly Hobby. I was
She did look like Holly Hobby.
She was cute.
She had long hair and
Holly
braids, and she was wearing little country dresses. That's pretty much Holly Hobby.
She didn't wear country. She wore country dresses. I don't even remember that. I wore country dresses.
No, you wore falsies.
And although that makes me sound like a homosexual, I'm just kidding. And by the way, welcome to Nicola and Peter and other folks who are joining us for the 638th episode of Dave's Gone By here in the neighborhood in Greeley, Colorado. We're doing Greeley crimes and old times in the neighborhood as we do every week from 9 until noon or thereabouts on Dave's Gone By. Okay, police received a call from 11th Street Road.
Oh, boy.
The caller reported, quote, she was, well, now the quote begins.
Okay.
She was trapped in her bathroom.
Oh, God, that would be my nightmare.
Because
Why?
A squirrel was somewhere in the house.
But I'll tell you, David, so many people are afraid of raccoons or cats or squirrels. I can understand that. But,
yeah.
But I would think you're trapped in the bathroom because there's someone in your house or something, not a
rodent. Well,
yeah.
a rodent, true, rodent would be scary, but I would lock him in an area, not myself.
Yeah, that's odd, yeah.
So
I bet she was watching her Netflix, I'd like to watch Grace and Frankie and have some popcorn, yeah.
Well, HBO's been offering a free month if you sign, not on cable, but
maybe there's that squirrel TV, like they have for cats or dogs or something. Maybe they have squirrel TV. You watch it and it's all like people throwing trash away and and dogs running at you up trees and stuff like that.
Dogs being scared of you.
That would be reversed. Yeah, I like it. Maybe that's what
maybe the caller
microwaving some Velveeta.
But here's the deal: the caller called back a little later to say that the squirrel escaped the house.
How?
But she still wanted help.
She needs some help. She needs some help.
If she's locked in the bathroom, how does she know the squirrel's gone?
But also, your bathroom doesn't lock from the outside. Wouldn't you have locked yourself in the bathroom? That's what I don't get. So if you locked yourself in, you can open the door.
Yeah, well, no, I don't think she needed help getting out of the bathroom.
Okay.
She needed help with a squirrel in the house. And then even with a squirrel gone, she still requested police help.
Well, maybe a good-looking policeman or woman, you might need some help.
Yeah, that might be. She might need some help with her beaver at that point. But, a 6-year-old girl, speaking of beaver, a 6-year-old girl was reported missing yesterday, and school officials and police searched for hours. It was discovered that she had stubbed her toe walking to school, which made her tardy. Kind of retardy, if you ask me. The students were already chanting their morning prayers when she arrived, so she went to the basement
Oh, this is not good. This is like a Dark Shadows episode.
Where she fell asleep.
Oh.
She woke up and joined the other children at recess.
Yeah.
That's when the teachers, of course, found her, etc.
Maybe she needed a nap. Let the kid sleep. What's so bad about that?
Must have stubbed her prayer toe.
Poor kid.
Just this idea that was probably a public school back
Yeah.
then, and children chanting their prayers
Well, we
in
used
the
to
morning.
say, well, I went to Catholic school, or Christian, and we used to say Pledge of Allegiance. And when I went to it was a nursing school that was religious. They were the Dominican nuns, and then it became public.
Mhm.
They stopped prayer when they received funding, right? They separated church and state. So then when they got funding, federal and
Yeah.
funding, the nuns used to pray on a loudspeaker. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, they were very, very nice ladies.
I don't know if we did. I mean, when I went
Yeah.
to Jewish school for many, many years, Bialik School in Brooklyn.
Did you?
And
Yeah.
we had
Public prayer
and every Saturday morning, my Saturday mornings were spent in a friggin' synagogue for 3.5 hours.
with your classmates.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
We all had to come up. We had to read from the Bible. We had to do the prayers.
God, that's horrible.
Not only that, in the lunchroom, every day, before lunch, you would do the prayer on the bread and the prayer, and then we had to sing the Birkat Hamazon after we ate.
Oh.
It was it's like 2-minute song that we had to sit there and sing.
See, so you did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was kind of nice.
You
It was
must have
boring
been
as
cute.
hell.
You must have been cute.
Oh, I was very cute. In my hair-lipped, chip
Oh.
tooth kind of
Don't
beetle
talk about your
haircut way.
face. Why'd you have a beetle haircut?
Because I liked the beetle haircut. And I had hair, so I could wear my hair like
but your
Paul
hair was so
McCartney.
curly. Why would you do that?
You always said I had. I never had curly hair. My hair was always straight, borderline wavy. Never had curly hair. If it was curly, it was because it was damp outside and it frizzed.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I never had a curly fro head. Never.
Oh.
I had hair that just went down, and since I like the Beatles, and Mom would always make sure it didn't go this low down my head,
Oh.
over my eyes, so they just made sure it
Did you have your
bowl
beard
cut
and
it.
mustache then when you were a baby?
I wasn't that hairy when I was a baby. At one point, I was obsessed with the Holocaust, so I used to part my hair like Hitler and do a mustache comb and then march around the house like this. Because little Jewish boys are so messed
You
up.
want to torture your family. That's
Yeah, that
beautiful.
too.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
too.
The therapy kicked in, though. You're good now. You're good now. It's all
Oh,
good.
yeah. You're the only person on earth that thinks I'm good now.
I think you are. You're a very lovely human.
Post office workers in California stopped a package
Uh-oh.
addressed to the governor
Yeah, that's never a good sign.
because of insufficient postage.
Oh.
As they inspected the package,
Uh-oh. Was it ticking?
they found several sticks of dynamite
Oh, my God.
and a clock device intended to explode the bomb.
Nice.
Yeah, right? Ooh.
One job you don't want to do now, postal worker.
Or back in
Oh,
1918.
my goodness. Oh, whoa.
Yeah, that was 100 years ago.
Whoa.
More things, poison the water supply, fear of the German, rightfully so.
But othering and hysteria are principles that are used to control people.
Well, wait.
Yeah.
This was an actual box filled with actual dynamite and an actual clock.
Yeah.
It wasn't just neurotic fear. This was, somebody tried to blow somebody up.
That's not good.
Yeah,
Not
definitely
good.
not.
Not good.
Police received a call from 36th Avenue Court. And by the way, we just had a whole bunch of people join us, by the way. Welcome to Warhol and Fred and
I wonder if it's our friendly Fred.
and someone named Kathleen, who has the name of a very famous actress, but she spells it differently.
Kathleen.
So it's a different Kathleen. And of course we have the Janine, who's not Garofalo. And
Kathleen.
David, my high school friend,
I
doctor
thought you meant
friend.
your cousin David.
I want to invite you on the show to talk about, not today, but I want to get you on the show to talk about the things as an intern you found in people's asses.
He can't because of HIPAA. He
This is
can't.
before he was a.
He can't. He's bound by his ethical
He
codes.
has,
He can't.
if he doesn't name names,
He shouldn't.
he shouldn't. Because you were the one who first told my friends and me about
Would you stop talking
light bulbs and
Stop
bottles.
talking and go.
I'm just fascinated
Go-
by
go-
the
go-
idea
go
of
in your old
clock
times.
radios. Just
That's where your 8-track went, I think.
it's where that first ring I gave you went. I'll tell you. Oh, just kidding. No,
You
but
never-
David, if you ever
Show
want to,
him, this is all I got here.
If we want to talk about what is not unclogging, what's the? Can we get there's Joyce's engagement ring and wedding ring right there.
Yeah, which we got from the S&M shop.
Yeah.
Remember the S&M shop? We got the wedding rings at. Yeah.
Well, no, it's true. We actually got it from two gay men who opened a.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a bondage shop.
It was next to the bondage shop. Was it East Village or Chelsea?
I think it was Chelsea. No,
Chelsea?
Yeah.
And then they did beautiful work. They designed stuff, and the rings were great.
Yeah.
But the guy showed us he was wearing for your Dr. David friend, he had about 15 pain patches stuck to him.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, he enjoyed the painkillers.
Wait a minute. What?
You know those little pain patches that you stick,
Yeah.
that deliver medication? He was wearing about 15.
This is the guy who was making the jewelry?
No, he was the owner. His
It was DVBS was the name of the place.
Oh,
And I think they're still there.
I love
DVBS
it.
in the
They were
village.
great.
They did lovely work but they were being next door
To an S&M
to an S&M shop is not the same as being an S&M shop.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a little bit differently.
Yeah, that's true.
Peeing near the bathroom stall
That's true.
is not the same as being. Well, anyway, David didn't write back, but David, if you ever want to come on and talk about the many, many weird doctor stories and things that you have found, and disimpaction, I think that's the word. People that you have disimpaction. Okay, all right.
People don't want to hear, but they want to talk to
Yes,
the
they
nice lady,
do.
Marie
Yes,
Wallace.
they do want to hear about this. Oh, yes, Marie Wallace is coming.
I like
I
her.
promise.
She's lovely.
What else? What else do I want to? Oh, we're doing Greeley Crimes at All Times, by the way.
There's got to be something from 8th and 8th, the vortex of, calls.
I'm not sure if we have anything from that, but we do have a call from 36th Avenue Court. The caller reported a large pink pig
What?
wandering through a neighbor's yard. Oh. The caller was concerned, she said, because her neighbor was due home any time now and was going to be livid. The neighbor was, in fact, not happy to find out potbelly pigs
Of
are
course,
pets,
yeah.
even after the pig was returned to its home. Oh. Well, a little potbelly pig wanders onto our yard, I guess.
We'll call him Hammy.
Yeah. No, what were we? That's cruel.
Well, but he's Ham.
Let's
I
call
will
him Porky then,
or Hammy.
Yeah.
Hammy Pants. Can we call Mr. Hammy Pants?
Taylor for Taylor Ham. I don't know. We could call him
Taylor Swift.
Well. I'm trying so kind of the opposite of a pig there. What else would you make out of bacon?
Bacon. Porky, pork chop, Mr. Pork Chop.
Yeah. No, I'm blanking.
I don't know.
Anyway. Police also received a call from a Greeley man who complained that his 14-year-old daughter was trying to make him angry. Apparently she succeeded. That's
why
why you need
called
police.
Adolescence. I mean, that's the whole point of being an adolescent or teenager,
Yeah.
right? That's a developmental stage where you do that to your folks.
You rebel against
Yeah.
the parent.
I fight authority.
The father. Hey, Kay Norton, by the way. No,
I
just
fight
kidding.
authority always.
Riley Studios of Greeley.
Wow, what is that?
I don't
A
know.
Studebaker?
It's probably back when we had a movie studio here because
Wow.
they purchased a new motion picture machine,
Ooh.
which will take films of Greeley and Weld County, and those films will be shown at local theaters. Isn't that cool?
I have an idea. If you want to see your local environment, step outside your house and look.
Oh, come on. What are you talking about?
How hard is that?
Imagine the novelty. Back in it wasn't that novel in 1917.
No.
The film had been around for almost 20 years at that point, at least in a small way. But if you go back to 1898, workers leaving the Lumiere factory, which was footage of people coming out of a factory in France. And people were thrilled by this. The people who saw themselves walking out of the factory the other
Maybe
day.
They need some stimulation.
Don't you get excited when you recognize a place in New York you watch Law and Order all the time? Don't you get, I know where that is. They shot that at Columbia. They go to Columbia all the time.
No, mostly Fordham. But
I
don't get it's like so. But I'm not like it's not vastly fascinating.
No, but for the moment it's a thrill. It's kind of a.
It's not a thrill. I would not. If you get a thrill from that, you need a new thrill.
I do get a thrill. You wouldn't if you suddenly saw Greeley on a major motion picture.
No.
I mean, the Ice House or something, or the little baby Statue of Liberty that we have, which is retarded, in front of our courthouse.
No.
That one go like, oh, there's Baby Liberty. That's right by the Rio.
No.
Really?
Not 1 second.
Are you joking?
No, I'm dead serious.
What? My family went apeshit. We absolutely went apeshit when the movie My Favorite Year came out.
Yeah.
Remember that? This is like 30 years ago with Peter O'Toole, and I think Mark Lynn Baker was in it. I forget who else was there. But My Favorite Year, very nice movie, funny movie, all about like this nice Jewish kid who's got to wrangle a Sid Caesar-like star on television, but the star is a raving drunk and has to corral him, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow.
And this kid lived with his very Jewish family on Ocean Parkway.
Yeah.
And they showed the front of the apartment building where we lived, where I grew up for about 10 years, right? We called everybody. We said, oh my God, 320 Ocean Parkway. Look. That's our stoop. That would not excite. That would not make you like, woo.
No.
Wow.
Not at all. Not at all.
We are so different.
Yeah.
We're so different. Well, anyway, I hope that the people in 1917 in Greeley were excited to see Greeley in front of them in the Riley Studios motion picture place. And actually, because it was Greeley, John Waters volunteered to make the film Smell-O-Vision for authenticity.
Wow. I don't think you needed to add the smell.
As I just opened the doors of the theater while you were watching. It's like you get odor and vision. Woo. I'm so sad that you couldn't get into like seeing what you recognize. No?
No, unless it's a borough. Even the boroughs, I don't feel like.
I even get excited when I see a friend of the neighborhood on a Law and Order. I go, oh,
yeah, but
they were
that's
on the
different.
show.
That's a person. Like,
yeah.
I think for me, most of the neighborhoods I've lived in, the people want to gentrify or exploit, so I find it sad.
Well, don't you get a little sad when you watch an old movie, New York-based movie, and there's a wide shot, an establishing shot, or a crane shot, and there's the Twin Towers?
Not really. I think they're just places. I mean.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, our place is right here in the University of Northern Colorado in Greeley, Colorado. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. That's my wonderful wife, Joyce. Oh, look how more people have tuned in. We've got Jeffrey and Kevin.
Well, listen,
Kevin the guitarist.
I gotta go because you got to do your stuff and go get trained, and I got to go get your ice cream.
True.
Shake.
So let's do one more. We'll stop Greeley Crimes all the times. And you're right. I've got to do a lot today because we're going to leave the neighborhood a little early
I
today.
want to make sure you get the interview and everything gets going right. Yeah.
Fabulous.
No, I know you told me to keep you on track, and it's probably it's 9:50. Yeah, by 10 I've got to go. You said.
All right, let's do one more. Police received a call from 8th Street and Highway 85. Remember, the more things change, the more things remain the same. The caller was concerned.
Well, it's got 2 8s in it, like 8th and 85 is 8.
Close enough, yeah. Well, the caller was concerned because someone left a bike with a trailer attached to it near a bridge.
Ooh.
Caller believed someone either jumped off the bridge or left the bike there to blow up the bridge. So again, the more people sending packages in the mail 100 years ago.
It's the troll. Usually there's a troll on the bridge and you have to pay them.
Oh.
How do you think I got the word toll?
From the troll on the bridge.
So you got to pay them, and the nanny goats under the bridge, they want the money.
He who crosses the bridge of death must answer me these questions 3. Ere the other side he see. Okay, there's a quiz for you. What movie is that from?
Wow.
Anyway, welcome to Pat also.
I bet you your neighbor will get it. Not Gary. I forgot his name. Jeff. It's so funny. I just forgot.
Jeff who knows Shakespeare, can quote Shakespeare.
He's not only quote it, but he could write it because he's smart.
Well, yeah. Unlike old Dave. Well, he's a Shakespeare expert and an expert in languages, and he speaks like some weird, not Tagalog, but
I think because he's probably done a trip abroad, he speaks some stuff.
And by the way, thank you all for tagging along with us here on Dave's Gone By. That was Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Chocolate one. No. Yeah, they have mint tea. Thank you, first of all, most of all, to my darling. Here she is. Here's my darling, adorable wife, ladies and gentlemen. Just in case just so you know, she's not a disembodied voice. That there's actually a human being She's not one of those formaldehyde heads.
I am a human. You are doing well. Oh, was it Australia? I think Australia, they paid for this multi-million-dollar robot who was supposed to interact with guests, I think at the airport.
Yeah.
But they found he couldn't, at a department store, but they found he wasn't interactive enough, so they got rid of him.
Whoa.
Yeah, they fired him.
That's cool, because when I went to the supermarket this week, the checkout bagger people were talking about how they were talking about that Amazon store in Seattle. And I said, well, pretty soon we won't have jobs. And they were a little bit worried about it. And then another bagger said, well, no, they'll just be different jobs. They'll be more technological. But still, it's kind of interesting times. Anyway, thank you, sweetie.
I'll go get your stuff.
Thank you, sweets. That was my wife, Joyce. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. This is Dave's Gone By, which is partially brought to you by the fine folks at Hewlett Minuteman Press, the copy kings of Hewlett, Long Island. So if you have just single-sided black and white copies, for example, or color copies or laminates, or you have to put your logo on a sports item or clothing or a banner or a flyer or a balloon, they can do that all for you. Plus, they're known for holiday cards and wedding invitations. Hewlett Minuteman Press, they do it all. And if you tell them Dave sent you, you get 10% off any job, big or small. 516-569-5577, area code 516-569-5577. I do believe they're open for like 10 more minutes today, or not even 5 more minutes. But they'll be back open Monday at 8:30 to take your order at Hewlett Minuteman Press. They are the copy kings. And Jeff, who is listening, he is my my office he's next door. He's in my next door neighbor in my office at UNC, who is explaining the language that he speaks is Tswana, which is the national language of Botswana. Dumela Ra means hello, sir, and you have to roll the I can't roll my R's. Like 6 years of high school Spanish. I got 6 years of high school Spanish. Good one, Dave. Dumela Ra means hello, sir. What's hello, ma'am? Maybe I can do that one better. But anyway, Tswana is the national language of Botswana, which is kind of cool. I guess Americans should be speaking Glish then, or folks in England ought to be talking Glish. I don't know where to go with that. You know where I'm going to go with that? I'm going to go inside Broadway. Inside Broadway, a look at theater on and off Broadway and beyond. Brought to you by Total Theater and Performing Arts Insider. Curtain going up. I'm actually going to do this one in the German language, which we're now going to call Erman. Inside Broadway we go for news of the entertainment world, because I do love theater. I've been a theater critic for 30 years now. Also, I've done acting, I've done directing, I've done tons of theater journalism, etc., and so forth. So I love to talk about Broadway and the theater and just tell you what's happening. So, for example, speaking a little bit of off-Broadway, as a matter of fact, the 56th year of Shakespeare in the Park in Central Park in New York, done by the Public Theater, started by Joe Papp all those years ago. Well, they've announced the 2 shows that they're going to be doing this summer. The first one is Othello. They're reviving that from late May into mid-June, directed by our friend of the neighborhood, Ruben Santiago Hudson. And also at the Delacorte. I guess it's a delicate theater. The Delicate Delacorte Theater. After Othello, they're going to be doing Twelfth Night, which is going to be directed by Kwame Kwe-Arma and the artistic director of the Public, Oscar Eustace. And Nikki M. James, a Tony winner for the Book of Mormon, she's going to be starring in that. And then last bit here from Jeff, who says that Dumela Ma is hello, ma'am. So that's the female version. You have to emphasize ma and roll or hold on to the. How do you roll an M? Roll. This is what Jeff writes. Hello, Dumela Ma, which means hello, ma'am. Okay, fine. You have to emphasize the ma. No problem, and roll or hold on to the M. Okay, I can hold on to an M. That's good pudding. But How do you roll an M? Do Melo. Yeah. If I went up to a woman in Botswana and did that to her, she'd spray me with mace and have me arrested. All right, this is why I don't do languages anymore. Anyway, speaking of at the Majestic Theater on Broadway, Liz Smith, the late Liz Smith, gossip columnist, newspaper writer. There will be a public memorial for her this coming Friday, February 2nd. Her column often covered Broadway and Broadway stars, so now Broadway is repaying the favor, and among the people performing at the memorial are Tommy Tune and Betty Buckley, and there'll be speakers like Barry Diller and Leslie Stahl, Bruce Willis, and Renee Zellweger. So, and it's a public memorial, so there'll be a line and first come, first served to pay tribute to the late Liz Smith. That's at noon this coming Friday at Broadway's Majestic Theater, which I think is the home of Phantom of the Opera. And hey, New York listeners, I go through this every few months, and I'm thrilled to. It is time for 20 at 20 again. This is a great thing that New York does, and the New York Off-Broadway League does. What you do is now through February 11th, if you want to see an off-Broadway show, about 36 different off-Broadway shows, and they haven't sold all their tickets yet, you can show up at the box office 20 minutes before curtain and pay just $20 per ticket. Okay? So, and let me tell you about the shows that are involved in this. There's Avenue Q, Musical, Stomp, Jersey Boys, which was a Broadway show, at one point the hottest show on Broadway, Chekhov Dreams with our friend Marie Wallace. Chekhov Dreams stars another one of our friends who was just here a couple of weeks ago. Ooh, forgive me for not remembering that. But also the Marie Wallace show is part of that. And then there's also Delta in the Sky with Diamonds, which features our friend Austin Pendleton, Bright Colors and Bold Patterns, Red Roses, Green and Gold, which is a Grateful Dead off-Broadway show. I mean, it features their music. Cruel Intentions, Puff, the Harry Potter show, all of these and more. They're all at 20 at 20. So go to 20at20.com to find out more information. So again, if it's for 20 days, it's already started. It started on my birthday. And through February 11th, go to the box office, the actual, no phone lines, no interwebs, physically show up 20 minutes before curtain. And if there are unsold seats to any of these off-Broadway shows, you can buy a ticket for $20. And, off-Broadway prices now, you know what they are. They're $60, $80, $100. So it's an amazing deal. Please take advantage of that. And, okay, one more from Jeff, who says, he thinks I'm a natural at Swana. Thank you, Jeff. It's the one thing I've never wanted to be rich or famous or surrounded by more than one. I have a beautiful woman in my life, my wife, but I've always wanted like a dozen because I'm Jewish male. But no, I give up all of that, or having a radio show on a 50,000 watt station, or owning my own theater. No, or even having a full-time job at this university would be nice. But no. As long as I can be a master at Swana, I'm happy. Anywho, Grammy time. Tomorrow night at the Grammy Awards, they're going to pay tribute in a theatrical way, I guess, to Leonard Bernstein. This is his centenary. It would have been his 100th birthday, and also to Andrew Lloyd Webber. So in honor of that, Patti LuPone will be on the Grammys tomorrow night live, singing Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, which is, of course, the song she made famous when she did it in the original Broadway Evita. And she actually rehearsed with Andrew Lloyd Webber this past Thursday. It was reported in the New York Post. Why is this interesting? Why is this notable? Well, she's hated him for decades because she became a star thanks to Evita, and then he promised her when he was doing Sunset Boulevard, originally, we're going back about 20 years now, that she would open the Sunset Boulevard on Broadway. But what happened was Glenn Close did it in London and one other place and got amazing raves, And the decision was made not to rock the waters, to give that to Glenn Close. And it was Glenn Close who appeared on Broadway in Sunset Boulevard. Patti LuPone sued, and she ended up winning like $1 million and putting in a pool in her home that she calls the Andrew Lloyd Webber Memorial Pool. But so there's been no love lost on both sides, but especially on hers. But they kind of buried the hatchet this week so that she could rehearse. And it was actually, I mean, give her props, because the television people said, the Grammy people said, we need to cut for time. So you can sing Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, but you have to shorten it by a minute. And she says, well, I'm not going to do the cutting, and nobody else should be allowed to do the cutting except the composer. So she said, I'll do it if you get the writer himself, Andrew Lloyd Webber, to do the cutting. And he did, and they appeared together. And again, it's still a kind of perfect timing. It's still a frosty relationship between them. Thank you, hon. But, at least some ice was cracked. Thank you. This past week. Well, actually, leave them in the bag. Joyce is bringing me my mint iced teas. Because she is such a tease. Oh, wow, they had a bunch of them.
I got you 5 because it's your special number and it's your special show.
Oh, boy, it's my special day. Thank you, ladies. Hey, this is the quality of humor that I do, ladies and gentlemen.
Here's your bag. You can put it all back in.
Oh, boy. Okay, thank you, sweetheart.
Yeah.
So,
you would like on your special day to have a special number, 5.
Right. Oh, 5 is my favorite number. Thank you, sweetie. And by the way, did you know that in your absence, it only took a couple of minutes, but in your absence, I actually became an expert at Swana. Just like that. I'm ready to go to Botswana and talk to the people there. I'm that good.
Wow, what did you learn?
I learned, here, let me do this.
Can you say hello?
Dumela ma. Was that good?
How dare you say that to me? How dare you?
I told you they call me a perv if I did it that way. But can you roll an M? No, an M. That's not rolling. That's just saying it.
I don't do it.
I can't roll it. You sound like a broken heater.
Dude, are you okay? Are you leaking something?
Well, you have to roll your M's to
I'm
do
not
that.
rolling. Did I give you the straw in there, baby?
Yeah, I've got the straw.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you for my shake. I will see you late this afternoon, actually.
Yeah,
Just keep it. We'll text and talk, etc. Okay.
Love you, baby.
Love you, sweetie, and thank you for my shakeroo.
And your 5 teas.
Yes. Love you. Okay, back to Inside Broadway and back to the Grammy Awards. Okay, we're good. At least on that part, on the Patti LuPone ALW part. Oh, and I wanted to let you know that more cast members have been announced for the Broadway revival of Eugene O'Neill's The Iceman Cometh, which cometh to the Bernard Jacobs Theater in April with Denzel Washington. He plays, of course, Hickey, the salesman who comes to his old haunts, and everybody's really excited and looking forward to his presence, except he's changed. Stuff has happened to him. He's come upon a realization that's turned him into a changed man, and then he tries to change everybody else, which pisses them off. Anyway, it's The Iceman Cometh, Denzel starring, and then they've announced other people who will be in it. For example, David Morse, Cole Meany, Frank Wood, Reg Rogers, Bill Irwin, Tammy Blanchard, and our friend of the neighborhood, Dakin Matthews. So it's going to be a very cool cast in Iceman Cometh. Now, to keep apprised of all the things that are going on Broadway, especially the details of all the shows on, off, and off Broadway, you're going to want to get yourself a copy of Performing Arts Insider, the Bible of Broadway. Since 1944, Performing Arts Insider has listed comprehensively every single show, including everybody involved, how to contact them, email addresses, the managers, the agents, the press agents handling the shows, when shows are opening, closing, starting previews, every single page of this great hard copy journal that people pay a lot of money for. But the folks who do renew year in, year out, because they know they can't get the information in that way any other place, even if you want to open a zillion windows on your computer. How to find out more about Performing Arts Insider? Go to performingartsinsider.com, performingartsinsider.com, or if you're in New York, you can pick up a single copy at either the Drama Bookshop or Theater Circle. They're both in Midtown in the West 40s. And also, all the information about subscriptions is at performingartsinsider.com. It is the Bible of Broadway. And by the way, the Total Theater Company, which puts out PAI, also has a website of its own. It's called totaltheater.com. It's free, and it's filled with reviews of shows. Broadway, off and off-Broadway, plus regional theater, international theater, festivals. It's all there. Totaltheater.com. Just surf it. Go to the What's New page, which is flagged right on the homepage, and it'll have links to all the plays all over the place that are still running. If you want to go into the archives, then you have to go scrolling and looking in the Criticopia section. But do check it out, totaltheater.com. And you can spell theater either way, E-R or R-E. It will bring you to the same place. Well, the place we are is right here in Greeley, Colorado, doing the Dave's Gone By Inside Broadway segment, telling you a bit about Broadway, some sad news to report. That actress Olivia Cole passed away on Friday the 19th, so not yesterday, but about a week ago. Born in Tennessee, an African-American woman, she studied drama at Bard College, and then she even went to the Royal Academy in England to study drama there. She made her Broadway debut in 1966 when she was with the APA Phoenix Repertory, where so many actors got their start. And they did 3 shows in repertory on Broadway in 1966. They did School for Scandal, Right You Are If You Think You Are, and a play called We Comrades 3. That was her triple debut. And then she came back a year later and did 2 more plays with the Phoenix Rep. She also did a 1973 Merchant of Venice for Lincoln Center Repertory at the time, where she was playing Nerissa to Portia, which was played by Rosemary Harris back then. And then she was in her last Broadway show was the satire The National Health by Peter Nichols, with co-stars Leonard Frey and Rita Moreno. And that was all the way back in some point in the 1970s. But then she moved on to TV and other things. In the 1970s, she's best known for playing Matilda on the TV miniseries Roots. And I think she won an Emmy for that. She was also, this is amazing. She was in a series called Siznik, featuring Ned Beatty. This was 1977. Olivia Cole, co-star in Siznik. This is how it was spelled. S-Z-Y, S-Z-Y, S-Z-N-Y-K. And this show was not a hit. Somehow, television viewers who had, I guess, that box in their homes at that point already, or maybe they just filled out forms, hey, what shows are you watching? And I'll guarantee there was probably dozens of people who were taking the, what is the survey? It starts with an N, the Nielsen survey thing, where they had to say, well, what shows did you check out this week? And people were sitting at home going, well, I watched this Ned Beatty show called I watched Meet the Press. No way that show could have been successful. But anyway, Olivia Cole was in it. She was also in the series North and South, Brewster Place, and she even had a small role in the Ice Cube film First Sunday. So farewell to the late Olivia Cole. And want to let you know that a show that will probably be coming to Broadway in maybe a year, 2 years, is the musicalization of the very popular comedy Tootsie. You remember that one. It's an adaptation of the screenplay that was by Larry Gelbart and Marie Schiskal, music by David Yazbek. Well, his star is just on the rise because he did Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, which I thought was hilarious, but was not a hit. He also had Woman on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, which I did not get to see and which flopped. But now he has a little show on Broadway called The Band's Visit. And it's still, so far, the favorite to win the Tony for Best Musical. And it's making great money. So David Yazbek is now, he also did The Full Monty. That was his first Broadway calling card. So now Tootsie is on the hot burner. with director Scott Ellis, and they cast it. Santino Fontana is going to do the show in its regional tryouts before coming to Broadway. So it's going to be at Chicago's Cadillac Palace in September, and then they're targeting Broadway in the spring of 2019. So a little over a year from now, if things go well, we'll be seeing Tootsie. That, of course, is the movie that starred Dustin Hoffman, presumably in his pre-molestation days, playing this actor who is so volatile nobody will hire him. So he dresses up as a woman and gets work that way. The only problem is, A, he has to portray a woman all the time, and B, he's fallen in love with Jessica Lange, who wouldn't, but she likes him as a woman, but not as a jerky, macho, sexist man. Typecasting turned out to be. But anyway, it'll be Tootsie, probably coming to Broadway in a little over a year. So in honor of that, let's play, not per se a Broadway song, but sung by a Broadway guy, Al Jolson, from this. I don't know if this is the version that was from the movie The Jazz Singer, but Jolson did sing the song in The Jazz Singer. It is, of course, Tootsie, Goodbye.
Yesterday I heard a lover sigh, goodbye, only oh my. 7 times he got aboard his train, and 7 times he hurried back to kiss his love again and tell her, Tootsie, goodbye. Tootsie, don't cry. The Toot train that takes me away from you. No one can tell how sad it makes me. Kiss me, goody, and then do it over again. Watch for the mail, I'll never fail. If you don't get a letter, then you'll know I'm in jail. Tootsie, don't cry. Tootsie, goodbye.
Hi, this is Marie Wallace, here in New York, appearing in an American Renaissance Theater Company production of Which Works 2018, Look Me in the Eyes. And I'm talking with Rabbi Saul Solomon on the Dave's Gone By show on UNC Radio.
Oh, shalom, my friends. This is your old buddy, Rabbi Saul Solomon, founder of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York, and spiritual leader.
Well, so great to talk to you, Rabbi.
Oh,
it's always a pleasure.
That joyous voice on the other end of the line is an actress, someone who has been doing Broadway and off-Broadway and regional theater for a few decades now, and she's still back on stage. You can go see her in a one-act play over from the American Renaissance Theater Company. They're doing it at the Directors Company on West 43rd Street. She'll tell you all about it, but she'll also tell us about when she was in the original Gypsy and when she was in Sweet Charity and the amazing people that she worked with. And I don't know why I'm talking like this. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the neighborhood, Marie Wallace. Shalom, Marie.
Shalom. So good to be here. Thank you.
Oh, you're
for inviting me.
Oh, anytime, a million times, because we are delighted to talk to someone who has so much background in the theater. And I didn't even mention that she was a shadowy figure because she was in the TV show Dark Shadows, and we'll talk about that too. So welcome again.
Welcome. I'm so happy to be welcome. Thank you.
The only the only negative part is that you yourself are not Jewish. However,
no, but I was married to a Jewish man. Does that count?
Oh, it almost does. You're Jewish by injection, as it were. So,
okay. And here's a fun little note. I worked at the Actors Temple in New York with Larry Storch. We did love letters a couple of years ago.
Larry Storch from After. How is he? This was a couple of years ago, but how was he?
Larry Storch is wonderful. We had originally worked up in the Hampton Playhouse, I think between shows from the Dark Shadows. You know, I kept playing up many parts. So when I finish one part, I'd go off and do Summerstock. And that year, I worked with Larry, and he was just a delight. And we've been friends ever since. And I was at his 95th birthday the other night.
Oh, McMuzzle, I didn't realize. Oh, is he in physical, decent, okay condition for a 95?
He is, and he has the wonder of a young man. When we had the most wonderful music group, we had wonderful actresses. Barbara Feldon came with a wonderful birthday cake. It was just a wonderful, wonderful celebration.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear this, and that you worked on that play. Love Letters, by the way, for people who do not know, is an epistolary play. Because, it's hot as a pistol. No, I'm kidding. That was terrible. But it has to do with, the nice thing is you don't have to memorize. You can read the play because they're reading letters to each other. The characters are. So you don't have to memorize it there in front of you.
It's an interesting way of doing things, isn't it? It worked great. It's really fun, and you really can get into it. And those letters, it's beautifully written, so it was great.
You are... I'm not going to say what age you are, but I think you're in the 70-something range. Am I correct on that?
I might be.
Possibly. So is it tougher to memorize for you now than it used to be? Or, it is what it is?
Here's what I think. I think that the reason everyone talks about older people not being able to memorize is that we start worrying about it. The fact that they say, then we start saying, am I going to remember this? Will I remember this? Oh, I hope I don't forget. And of course, that's the opening for forgetting. You could do it at 20, and you could do it at 60, and it can happen. Once the fear comes in, then that's when you forget it. But if you just go in and say, I know what this is, and I know what I'm saying, and it just comes out. Look at Christopher Plummer. He's about 90 years old. He's doing long plays on Broadway still.
All right, but then at the same time, my friend Dave, who produces and hosts this radio program of the air, he remembers seeing Don Amici in a production of Our Town on Broadway, I guess about a decade and a half, 2 decades ago. And Amici was into his senior years, and unfortunately to some extent senior moments, because he couldn't remember a word.
Oh, that is so... if that happened to me, I'd just say, no, I've done enough. Let me go to the beach and enjoy that, because that's horrible to have had such a wonderful career and to, end that way. That's terrible.
It was now maybe,
let's not do it.
Maybe a week or two after he was in the role, if he stayed for a while, maybe it was just under-rehearsed, but maybe not.
Oh, that's right. You have to do your homework. Whether you're 80 or 60 or 21, you've got to do the homework.
Now, you spoke about not letting fear or worry creep into things, but let's talk a little bit about fear as someone who's been on Broadway and musicals. Do you get stage fright? Not just for memorization, but that general backstage butterfly thing. And if so, how do you cope?
No, you know what I get? I get heightened excitement.
Ooh.
I won't say it's the ordinary thing that I'm just mostly calm, but I'm not frightened. I feel it's different. The only time I felt sort of fear was and it's the only time I ever replaced anyone on Broadway. Well, actually, I did it another time, but let's talk about this one. Sweet Charity. Sharon K. Ritchie, who had been a Miss America, and she was playing Ursula. And I was in a Broadway show called The Right Honorable Gentleman, which was an English drama. And at the same time, they had my agent called me and wanted me to audition for this role, which it was a lovely non-singing role in a musical, which usually isn't very good, but this was very nice. And but I was still busy in this play, so I never even auditioned. And my show closed, the Right Honorable Gentleman, I'm quite sure, on January 29th, and I'm pretty sure that Charity opened on the same date, or certainly around there. Within, I don't know, it was 3, 4, 5 weeks, I got a call from my agent. They're looking for a replacement, and Sharon left. And so I got in. Well, anyway, because I didn't rehearse with anyone, I met Gwen
Gwen Murden.
10 minutes before we were to go on, time, my knees were shaking.
Wow.
I could feel my knees shaking, and but just that first night, but I was able to, it doesn't paralyze me or anything.
Now, I've heard very nice things about Gwen Verdon. Was she great backstage? Was she a nice?
Oh, fabulous, fabulous, wonderful, wonderful lady. It was really great to work with, and we just enjoyed her so much. Everyone did. I think because she was a dancer. She started in the chorus. She understood, that whole thing, and it was just a delight to be with her. Yep.
And also, interestingly enough, you made fast and long-term friends with another actress who was in Sweet Charity at the time. You just tag off with Ruth Buzzy. Was there a particular?
Yes, Ruth Buzzy.
Yeah.
Oh God, we had such fun. And we both were in just one act, So we both liked sewing, and we bought. We didn't buy. We hired, rented a sewing machine, and we would make clothes and all kinds of things. And we'd often show it to Gwen because she loved clothes and she loved things that were cut on the bias, and so did I. And I used to make clothes like that. And so at one point, it was after a year, and one of the dresses, I wore two. I had two costumes. One was really worn out. It was really looking crummy, which was not good for this wonderful Hollywood starlet.
Yeah.
So Gwen told them, we need a new dress. Go out and shop with her. They weren't going to remake it. It was Irene Shara, wonderful, great designer. And we went out, and all they were looking at was really inexpensive, cheap, I'll say, dresses. And so that night, Gwen said to me, "So, did you find a dress?" I said, "No." And I told her the kind of stuff we were looking at. She said, "Well, why don't you make your own?" And I said, "Oh, that would be fun." She said, "Yeah, we'll pay for the materials. We'll get the wardrobe mistress to help you if you come into any problems, and we'll pay you $100. And I said, "Oh,
Okay.
$100? I don't need money." And so I went to the stage manager and told him that. He said, "Listen, Gwen is a major stockholder. She wants you to have $100. Take $100. Okay. And my best delight of that is that when they brought the production, not with all of us, but I mean the new production in London, and they copied the costumes. They didn't copy the original Irene Shara. They copied mine. So that was a great, great fun for me.
That's a real compliment. By the way, we're talking to Marie Wallace, who was in Sweet Charity, as we said, for a while. You were also in, and this is the original Gypsy. And you weren't a replacement cast member. You were there from the beginning.
I was there from the beginning. But I right now, I'm in an American Renaissance Theater Company production. And that is so wonderful. And it's especially, I wanted to tell you about it because it's only on for 2 weeks. And it's called Winter Works 2018, Look Me in the Eyes. And it's very interesting. It has 9 actors, 6 playwrights, and a poet. And so we have 6 plays, small, short plays, all but with the same theme of coupling, and all different kinds of couples. A man and a woman who have been married for years, 2 women who have been friends forever, and strangers in the park. And that's my play. And it's called New York Encounter, which right away I was interested in because
New York.
native New Yorker.
Right.
And it takes place in Central Park, which is my favorite place of all places. And I'm having such a good time. It was written by Fran Hanman, who is a wonderful writer, and she also wrote the song that the entire ensemble does at the end. And my little play was directed by Elowen Castle, and she's a marvel. She's directing, I think, she directed 3 or 4 of the plays. So it's a wonderful, and it's a very intimate setting, shall I say. And it's good because it is about intimate things. And I think that people are really enjoying it, and I know they'll continue to. I wish you were in New York. You'd come and be my guest.
That was for you. Hello, don't tell my wife. Come into your bed. But first of all, actually, let's get to that too. But we'll remind people that they can see you in the one-act play, A New York Encounter, as part of that Look Me in the Eyes Festival of American Renaissance Theater. It's happening through February 4th, 2018, so you do have until then to see it at the Directors Company over on 43rd Street and 8th Avenue. But, speaking of kind of sexy in the costumes and stuff like that, are you starting as a model for a while?
I did. And I always considered, I never, was in love with modeling, but what I liked about it, I felt that it was my subsidy for off-Broadway. Because, you made no money. I mean, it's not like you do it for nothing, but it's almost for nothing. But that's okay. But you need to pay the rent and you need to eat. So modeling was a great thing for me because, I remember my first show before The Great Gypsy was off-Broadway, and it was Sophocles' Electra and Terence Rattigan's Harlequinade. And I think we were paid all of $35.
It's more than I make right now. I'll take it. You want to try being a rabbi?
More than a lot of us make it at any one week, but sometimes you make a little more,
Right.
Anyway.
Do you have any memories of Harlequinade and Electra?
Well, the best part for me was that I was just starting out. I was very young. I was studying with Jack Manning, studying Shakespeare, and I had already just signed up, to enroll at NYU, and I was studying economics, and it was only a couple of months into it that my Jack Manning, the teacher, called me, because I had no agent or anything yet. I was probably about 17, and I'd just gotten out of high school, and he said, go over to the Rita Allen Theater and tell them I sent you, and you'll go and audition for Sophocles' Electra and Harlequinade. So I did. I said, Marie Wallace and Jack Manning sent me. They let me in, and I got to read, and who do I find out is directing it but Philip Burton. Philip Burton was a great Shakespearean scholar and director, and he was the one who actually, they called him the uncle of what's his name, Burton, Richard Burton.
Oh.
In fact, he took his name from him, and he taught him, that wonderful voice that Burton had. Oh my God. And so I was very thrilled to be in my first show, not being an apprentice and just doing, junk work around the theater, but actually being in the Greek chorus and then having a nice part in Harlequinade. And Philip told us, because some people said, I don't understand, why are you doing a Greek tragedy with this little light comedy? And he said, that's the way the Greeks did it. They always had a little comedy and the tragedy.
And I think that was even carried into modern times when they do Greek show. It was Peter Brook or somebody like that. They do this really heavy, Sophoclean tragedy. And then in the last 10 minutes, there'd be thing where they're dancing around a giant penis. They'd bring on a phallus. No, for real. They bring on that thing, and they dance around it and then sing and make noise and joyful things. That's what they would do.
Wonderful. Yeah, I know. I love it.
And that's what I do after my sermons on Saturday, as a matter of fact.
Oh.
Yeah, it's an interesting shul we have. We're talking with Marie Wallace here in the neighborhood. Now you skirted away. You were going to talk about Gypsy, but then you talked about the one-act play, which I understand, but I'm not letting you go.
That's what I'm doing now. And no, Gypsy was a great experience because, again, I'd done that little off-Broadway play, and it was wonderful. But now my eyes were set on Broadway. And, of course, an agent called me and sent me for it. And to be in the chorus again, from the Greek chorus to the Gypsy chorus. And my agent said, wear leotards and tights. I said, okay. I had no idea what that was. So I wore a bathing suit. And I got there, and we all got on stage. And sort of like chorus line, first they look at you just by the way you look, and they eliminate this one and that one, and then finally we all that were picked to stay were told, do the showgirl walk. Well, I had no idea what the showgirl walk was, so I just got behind one of the big tall girls, and I watched what she did. She put her arms out, and she took these long strides, and she was very sexy, and I just kept doing what she did, and we both were hired. So that was my entree into Gypsy Broadway.
Now, do you have any recollections of working with Julie Stein and then Sondheim and...
Yes, oh sure. Not so much Sondheim. I didn't really get to talk to him, but did talk a lot with Julie Stein. And I remember once he said he wrote this for Ethel, but he wrote it as if he was writing for a trumpet.
Ooh.
Isn't that interesting?
And it makes sense, because also, here's the other deal. Like, we're talking about, I guess it was 1959, 1960, right, when Gypsy
Yes.
was happening. And now you go to a musical in the theater, and everything's blasting at you, and there's 25 amplifiers, and people have microphones crawling all over their bodies. Back then, Ethel Merman was known as somebody who could stand on a stage and ping her voice to the back row, and everybody could hear her over all the orchestra, over all the brass. A, is that absolutely true? And B, since there was no miking back then, didn't you all have to do that?
Wait, yes, you were taught to really project. I hate when I go to the theater. And first of all, the whole sound of loudspeakers and everything is just so horrible to me. And I cannot stand those little mics through their hair or coming out of their ears. And the first time I saw it, really, I thought this guy had a big mole on his cheek. Then I saw everybody having these, and I said, what in the world is that? And I don't know what kind of voices they have, but to have a mic for every... And now they mic straight shows. Little off-Broadway shows I see mic.
They do, because they get the TV actors, and the TV actors, they talk like this, and they're used to not moving their lips.
No.
And it picks up...
Yeah, every TV actor worked like that, talked like that, except Dark Shadows, because we were bigger than life.
Well, since you met... Well, I want to spend a little more time on Gypsy. Do you have any...
Okay.
Do you have any stories about La Merme?
Well, let's see. She was, I wouldn't say she was friendly the way Gwen was friendly, or Robert Preston, who really knew the stagehands, knew their wives, and all that. So Ethel would say, "Oh, girls," wave to us, but never Marie or anyone else. And in fact, I do remember something on Christmas. Our stage manager made an announcement and said, everybody in the chorus, come on downstairs in front of Miss Merman's dressing room. So we all piled down there and we're standing on line, and he had a list of everyone's names. Of course, he knew our names anyway. And as we went in, say Barbara London, he would say, "Barbara London," and she'd say, "Merry Christmas, Barbara," and shove this package in her.
Oh.
But not her face, her arm.
Well, okay, yeah.
And we all thought, oh, okay, we're getting a big bottle of champagne, because that was about the size of it. And then, Marie Wallace, "Oh, Merry Christmas, Marie," and, hands that way. So we all went running upstairs to the 6th floor, I think it was, in the Broadway Theater, and opened it. And the funniest thing is, it was cologne. And her husband was the manufacturer of this cologne, and it was cologne in a huge decanter. I have to tell you that it was sold at the Woolworths 5 and dime.
Oh, man. And it was her husband's manufacturer. She probably didn't have to pay anything for it. Oh.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, but at least she thought of giving us something.
Yeah, no, she didn't have to give you anything. That's
No, absolutely not. But 1965 on the back. And I love those kind of presents because you have it forever.
That's a cherished thing. And that's a thing that, you maybe give to Broadway Cares Equity, if I'd say, to auction off at the next, when you're ready and when it's no longer your, do you have kids?
No. By choice. I married and I just wanted a career and I didn't think the two could mix. And so I didn't.
Do you have a mix of regret and no, that's exactly right? Or
no, I have no regrets. No regrets. It worked well for me. My husband was a doctor, and
no wonder you could be in show business. There you go.
Right. And I wanted to be around with him. In fact, I didn't go on the road except for those short tryouts because we, as you know, we would have the tryouts. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
They do previews in town, but we always went to Boston, to New Haven, to Philadelphia, and we tried our shows out there. So we didn't mind that because that was 3 weeks. Well, the longest one was Gypsy. I think we did 6 weeks and then extended it for 1 more week. But it was wonderful because it gave you a freedom. Even it gave
the creators,
the writers, the creators, a chance to try different things. And those critics were very sharp, so they could listen to those critics and use that. And yet it wasn't right in Manhattan, And I don't like once they started previews. It's cheaper for them, no question. And today it would be so expensive probably to keep picking those things up. The only way they go now is the tours after they've opened on Broadway.
right? Or they might try something out in a regional institutional theater and then open there and then bring something in if it's a hit regionally.
Yes, they do that, and that's nice. I think that's a good idea, but not usually a musical, but a straight play. I loved working in regional theater that way because you'd work with very good writers, and they would be there through the entire time. And in regional theater, usually was 9 weeks. Paid. I mean, you rehearsed for almost 4 weeks, which is really nice, and then did a few previews right there. 4 weeks, and you could talk. I worked with Jack Gilhooly. I worked with Noonan. And
Noonan being, I'm sorry.
I can't think of his first name for some reason.
John.
Noonan.
Now, did you do Winter and Summer?
The Lions, it was called,
Okay.
and it was really a wonderful experience because it was again in an intimate setting, and yet you didn't have the pressure of New York. You were just there, and all you had to do was work on the play. There was none of your personal life wasn't involved. Nothing was involved. I did Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf up in Albany.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, that had already been done. I don't mean they did it as a first tryout, but
you were Martha?
It was nice to be in a regional theater and not have to worry about all the little petty things that happen in your life in the daytime. All you could do was eat, sleep, and drink, and eat and have a massage and think about Virginia Woolf because that's major.
By the way, in that production, were you Martha, and then who was George?
George was, it's interesting. No name. He was a professor from somewhere out Midwest that the Albany Theater, Capitol Rep it's called, would bring him in almost every year, I understand. He was a wonderful actor, but not professional. I mean, he could have been, but he never went that way. He lived out there and taught and came in for, 1 show a year. And so he was very good, very good.
Now, speaking of better than very good, we're talking with Marie Wallace, the actress. You can go see her in the one-act play New York Encounter that is happening at the Directors Company on West 43rd Street over on 8th Avenue. It's happening from now through February 4th. And now, to find out...
Oh, you know what we didn't say? How you can get the tickets.
Oh, now let's see if you can get this, because it's a little complicated. What is the website where people can get tickets for your show?
Called brownpapertickets.com.
There you go, brownpapertickets.com. And the name of the actual, because your one act is called New York Encounter, but the whole thing is what?
That's right.
It's
The
winter.
whole thing is called Winterworks 2018, Look Me in the Eyes. But if a person, let's say, forgets that, when you get to brownpapertickets.com, it says find an event. And you can put Winterworks 2018 and up will pop it. But if you just happen to forget that and you put in Marie Wallace, it'll also pop up.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So that's nice. They put a lot of different, names and words in so that somebody might remember somebody else. And, you can get it that way.
Now, you can also find Marie Wallace on Facebook at a page that is, and this is a long one, here it goes, Marie Wallace Dark Shadows Fan Club. So it's, facebook.com/Marie Wallace Dark Shadows Fan Club, because a lot of people, they don't know from the theater, they never saw her in Gypsy, but they know Marie Wallace from doing Dark Shadows on TV. Now, how did you get that gig?
I got that gig in 1968, and again, I was up at the Hampton Playhouse, and I remember my agent called me, not my agent, my husband called me and said, your agent called and said, he was calling to see if you would like to be submitted for Dark Shadows. And he said, my husband said, and I said, yes. I said, okay, what's Dark Shadows? Now, it had already been on for 2 years. It started in 66, but I had no idea. I mean, I never watched television except to watch myself or my friends. And so, anyway, when I came back, I checked it out, and that looked interesting, and got the audition and went to it. And after the real audition, the acting part and coming back and reading something else and all that, that night I got a call saying I had a call back the following day, and they were going to put us in costumes. It's the 3 people that were chosen that they were now going to make their final choice from. And so I went in, they did my makeup, and they gave me a beautiful gown. And the others were a brunette, a blonde, and me, the redhead.
Yeah.
And the only thing I noticed, because I said, oh gosh, this is vampires and ghosts and things, and these 2 gals had wonderful, long, straight hair, just like Vampira, But I didn't. I had longish hair and nice, thick, curly hair. But I thought, I can't compete with them that way. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to tease my hair out like mad, and it's going to look like a lion's mane. And that's how I acted when I got in front of the camera, because that's all they were looking for was the physical, because they would say to you, walk forward, now walk away, look over your shoulder, give us a come hither look and stuff like that. And so I waited, I sort of in the corner, kept teasing my hair and watching what they were doing with the other gals. And when they finished, I was called, and I did all my little walking and vamping and lion's mane and stuff. And this may be apocryphal, I don't know, but I have been told that Dan Curtis, who was the producer and originator of this whole Dark Shadows, he was standing there watching it, and he threw his script up in the air. He said, that's it, hire her.
Whoa.
So I got my first job on Dark Shadows.
Now, and the thing about Dark Shadows is it was almost more like a repertory company, because Jonathan Frid, he was there in one character for the whole time, but you were 3 different people.
That's right. And that was what was such fun about it, when the director said to me on our last day, don't worry, Marie, I know you're being killed off today, but you're going to be back. This is like a repertory company.
Wow.
And sure enough.
And your
A
favorite...
month later, after doing the play somewhere, came back and they had another part for me, and that was Crazy Jenny Collins. That was a good one.
And because she was crazy? Because you could...
Yeah, I think so, because fairly recently I
Yeah, tell me about it. I've lived the crazy part all my life, let me tell you. Speaking of television, by the way, I don't know what this is connected to. I took this note down, but I don't know why I took the note down. But you worked at some point with Jackie Gleason?
Oh, I did, yes. I did Sly Fox with him and Cleavon Little and Irwin Corey. And Arthur Penn directed it again. You know, he's the original director. And we treated it just like it was a beginning new show. Because you see, the original idea when they wrote it, Larry Gelfart sent it to Jackie to do it. But Jackie said, I just sent it right back because I don't know if you remember the stories.
No.
Jackie and David Merrick had big fights when he was in, I think, a show called Take Me Along on Broadway.
Yeah.
Fights where it was in the, I don't mean fist fights, but you know.
Well, no, but everybody hated David Merrick, so okay, yeah.
So I didn't hate him, and I'll tell you why later. Anyway, so he said, I'll never do a Broadway play again. And, you know, he didn't have to. He was the king of television and the honeymooners and, you know, living down there in Florida. And, but he said at one of the first rehearsals when we talked about it, he said, I made the mistake of opening the script and I couldn't turn it down. So they decided we would do a long tour across the country, then go for the opening season of the theater down in Florida, wherever it was that he lived. And after that, 4 weeks there, come up to New York and open that. Unfortunately, in Chicago, he had to have triple bypass surgery. So that ended that.
Because
up to that point, we were, you know, we went to San Diego, San Francisco. We went all over, and he was wonderful.
Oh, good, because we opened the conversation about memorizing lines, and the thing about him, at least in the Honeymooners, was he had a new script every week, and half the time he'd fumble or he'd put his hands on his hips if he didn't remember a line. Was he fine in Sly Fox?
I know, but this is unbelievable.
What?
Day one, he knew the entire script. Day one.
Oh, boy.
And by now, he was an older man. I mean, he wasn't old and ancient, you know.
Right.
But I think we did that in 79, something like that.
Well, I guess also at that point he could memorize one script and do it over and over and over, as opposed to having to memorize a script in 3 days.
Yeah.
And do it on TV.
No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Except that usually it's hard to learn just at home without working with the actors and everything. But he learned it by rote. I mean, he knew everything.
Wow.
Oh, this is a fun story.
Tell me.
You know, because we were touring all over, we had a lot of opening nights. And so we had an opening night in, where did Joe DiMaggio have his restaurant? In San Diego or San Francisco? I've forgotten. I think it's San Francisco. And anyway, so he came to the party, and as did Jack Haley and all those. And Jackie liked me a lot. And so we got along well. And I remember him calling for his wife. I've forgotten her name. And he said, come here. Come over here. I just told him that this dame is the only one I can depend upon on the stage. Isn't that right? Isn't that what I told you? And she said, yes, dear. But anyway, he said to Joe DiMaggio, you see this dame? She is to the theater what you used to be to baseball.
Whoa.
I'm going to marry her.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
I love that. But I was interested because I had a boyfriend and we would speak to each other every night from there to New York. But I just thought that was a fun kind of...
Yeah, but, I mean, nobody doesn't want to hear a line like that. That's beautiful.
Right.
That's wonderful.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of wonderful people of the theater, you mentioned in passing Robert Preston, but we have to talk a bit about him because everybody loves Robert Preston.
Everybody loves him, and there's good reason. He is the most wonderful man, and I was in a play with him called Nobody Loves an Albatross.
Yes, in 1963. Yeah.
Right. And he was so great. Now, I remember when I came to the second audition, he was there. Very often the star has final approval over the director. And so I knew he was there. And then I got the part. And then I guess about a week later, we were starting rehearsals. And the rehearsal hall, you don't rehearse on the stage, you rehearse in the studio. And there was a big staircase, and I started going up, and who's coming up at the same time but Press? And he looked at me and he said, "Welcome aboard." And it was such a wonderful way to start a play, with someone and in fact, when we had the lunch break, Connie Ford was in it, and Connie and I, and it turned out Preston, and two other people, I've forgotten who, all went to lunch together. And I went with them, but after about 20 minutes or a half hour, I said, I have to leave because I had to run over to my agent. I hadn't signed my contract yet. And he called me and said, you got to get over here. You're supposed to sign before you start rehearsing. So I left, and I handed, quietly, Constance Ford $20 towards my lunch. So when I got back, Connie handed me the $20, and I said, "Well, but that was for my lunch." She said, "I know, but Press took all of us out to lunch."
Whoa.
I mean, not too many people do that.
No, not only, and he also made, I think, a speech to you all, like on the first day or second day of rehearsal. And
oh yes.
yeah.
Yeah, Gene Sachs was the director, also a wonderful actor, if you remember. And so he was just telling all of us actors and what he was going to do, and etc. And he was really directing it all to us. And then Press spoke up and said, "Excuse me, I just want to say something. I'm part of the company. I'm not the star. I'm just all one of you. We're all one." And again, that was another thing that made us all just relax. And we were fine.
Oh, I just love hearing stories about that. I almost dread then asking about one other person that you were in a show with. You were in a play.
I can't imagine who you mean.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's going to be a terrible story, but in a play by S.J. Perlman called The Beauty Part, which...
Yeah,
Charlotte Ray, our friend of the neighborhood, she was in that show. Larry Hagman, Alice Ghostly,
David Doyle.
Oh,
I mean, what a cast!
And the star though was Bert Lahr, who had he had his personal difficulties. Did he bring them to bear on everybody else, or did he just torture himself?
I thought when I worked with him that maybe all comics were like this. He was so morose, and he had, it seemed to me, such little confidence in himself. And so, I mean, when we were in New Haven, we got on the elevator together, and he said to the elevator operator said to him, "I saw the show last night, Mr. Lahr." He said, "Yeah, what'd you think of it? What'd you think of it?" I mean, and so then when we were up in, I believe it was Boston, we had a luncheon with a bunch of women, and afterwards they were going to be coming to the show. It was some sort of theater party. And so I remember this very lovely woman said to him, "Oh, Mr. Lahr, all of Boston loves you." And he said, "Yeah, then where are they? They're not coming to the show."
He wasn't nasty to people. He just felt like constantly beleaguered, like his career was going to crest and fall. Did you read the biography by his kid, by
No, I didn't read it. But I do remember that he when we were at Thanksgiving, when you're an actor and you're away for a big holiday, the company becomes your family. Well, they become that way anyway, but I mean, especially in the holiday. So we couldn't cook a turkey or anything, but we all went over to Casey's restaurant and all had our Thanksgiving dinner or luncheon together. And we look over, and there's Bert with his son. And hardly talking to each other.
Hmm.
They didn't seem to have any kind of communication. It was so uncomfortable to see it, you know? And he was a complex character, I guess.
Now, are there any people that you worked with, and maybe they're dead now, that you would never work with again if they were still alive?
Well, you know...
Come on.
Somebody, wait a minute. Once Robert Preston said this, he said, very, you know, meaning it as a joke, of course, I'll never work with David Merrick again until he asked me.
Okay.
You know?
But you said you had you had no problem with David Merrick, you personally.
No, and you know why? It was just a little thing. We were, you know, in the chorus, right? We were the big showgirls, and there was a number, and it's never been in since that first original show. There were 7 more of us besides the dancers, the little tiny dancers. So the big, tall showgirls were in this last number, and it was the Christmas tree number. And one night, I don't know if it was whose thought it was to cut that number out. And so we were walking down the alley. We had to sign in. We had to come in and sign in, and then we were dismissed. They said, you don't need to stay tonight. You're not doing your number. So we were walking up the alley towards our hotel, and David Merrick sees us. And he said, what are you girls doing out here? Why aren't you in the theater? And we told him the story. They're cutting it. He said, no, they're not cutting that number.
Ooh.
And he went back, and sure enough, we were in it till the end of that run. That's the only reason I say I have a nice feeling about it, you know.
All right. I mean, you didn't do it for your sake, per se.
No, absolutely not. He probably didn't know what my name was compared to Carol Jo and Barbara and Theda, you know.
Well, by the way, we know...
So did it. And so we were very happy. I mean, being, you know, your first show on Broadway, it's a big deal.
Oh, every show on Broadway is a big
deal. Every show is a big deal. But it's funny because I remember when I said, oh, if only I could just get one little walk-on or a chorus, I'd be happy. That'd be it. And as soon as you get that, then you say, well, this is great, but if only I could get a nice small part.
Right.
And then you get a small part and you say, well, it'd be nice if I had a really good part. You know, it just, it doesn't really ever satisfy.
Human nature. You crave, you get a taste of it, and it's like, you get hooked, and you want to be a one-person 8-hour show in a Palace Theater. Is ultimately what you want.
That's right.
Playing 15 times a week, $800 a ticket, and you're set. It's good.
Right.
Well, this has been worth thousands and thousands of dollars talking to Marie Wallace. I'm going to remind you one more time before we ask her one last question, but Marie Wallace is in the one-act play, A New York Encounter. It is part of Winter Festival at the...
Winter Works 2018.
Winter Works 2018. Look me in the eyes. I never understood that phrase. What am I going to look you in the elbows? Look me in the eyes.
Well, we could try.
It'd be a little odd, but the American Renaissance Theater Company is doing it. It's at the Directors Company Theater at 311 West 43rd Street. That's around 8th Avenue. And it's running through February 4th. So you want to check that out.
Get their tickets through brownpapertickets.com.
brownpapertickets.com. And, of course, if you want to find out more about Marie Wallace, go to her Facebook page, Marie Wallace Dark Shadows Fan Club. Could it be any longer? Marie Wallace Dark Shadows Fan Club on Facebook. And, by the way, people can, you can send people, and this is really cool, a copy of your autobiography that you wrote a few years back.
I can do that, too, because I also have, if they're interested in my book, I do have a Facebook page called On Stage and in Shadows, and that's the name of my book.
On Stage and in Shadows?
Yes, and right on that page, it tells you exactly how to get it, and it's a great deal as compared to just getting it through, Barnes & Noble or something, which is fine, but it's just the book. And on this situation, you get an 8x10 of me, a page with Dark Shadows pictures, and a personal letter besides autographed book.
And what is it, like 20-something?
It's $25. Yeah.
$25 for a book, an autograph, a thing. Come on, how can you beat that, for gosh sakes?
That's right.
And all these stories and more told by Marie Wallace. So, Marie, how long do you think you will continue to act and do what you do?
Well, time will tell. I don't know. As long as something is good and funny and interesting, then I'll do it. If it's not, I don't want to go on the road anymore. I'm not interested in that. I want to stay in New York. I mean, I don't necessarily want to stay in New York, period. I like traveling and all that, but I don't want to go on a show traveling. It's not the greatest, conditions. When you're young, it's great and fun and wonderful, but no. But if something comes up in New York and I like it, I have to like it now. I don't do it just to keep busy. I don't need to keep busy. I have other wonderful things to do to keep busy.
Well, actually, let's make that our last question. What do you do to keep busy at other times? You do still knit like you learned backstage at charity?
No, I used to paint backstage, but I don't paint now, but I'm probably going to be taking it up again. But I did something that's very similar. I had a kind of second profession, photography, and I worked for about the last 10 years as a photographer, a special events photographer.
Oh, lovely.
And then I did my own work, and have had a couple of shows and won some, awards for it. And so that's been a very big part of my life. And I just like to be in Central Park. I like to read. I like to do whatever comes up.
Well, I'm thrilled that this program came up and that we have had Marie Wallace here with us in the neighborhood. Please go see her in Look Me in the Eyes and her Moyak play that she's in, the New York Encounter, and also keep apprised of everything that she is doing because, as we've seen, she is delightful. Marie Wallace, we thank you for being with us in the neighborhood, and shalom to you.
And shalom to you, Rabbi. I had a wonderful time talking with you. It's been great, and I look forward to doing it again.
Halabai.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Lovely hearing both Rabbi Saul Solomon and Marie Wallace here in the neighborhood on the Dave's Gone By radio and Facebook program of the air. It is about 8 minutes after 11 Mountain Time here at the University of Northern Colorado in Greeley, Colorado. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. This is our 638th episode of the show. We're calling it Bright Shadows in honor of Marie Wallace, our new friend of the neighborhood. And we care about the friends of the neighborhood. That's we like to keep tabs on the people who've been on this program in the months and years past and kind of let you know what they've been up to in this segment. Yeah, a little Bruce Coburn playing under there. He's not a friend of the neighborhood. I wish he were. But people who have appeared on this show and are doing other things as we speak. For example, our musician friend Chuck Lavelle is hosting a show on public television called America's Forests. And look for it on Rocky Mountain Public TV because I think he's dealing very specifically with Colorado at the moment. It's a pilot for a program that he hopes will be picked up by PBS. So he's going around to forests and looking at trees and musicians together. Sounds interesting. It's called America's Forests. Look for it on your station dial. And hey, hearty congratulations to our very recent friend of the neighborhood, Andre DeShields, the veteran actor. He is getting a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Bistros, and that is happening on March 12th. Now, our friend of the neighborhood, Sherry Eaker, who used to run Backstage magazine, she hosts, she MCs, she coordinates and produces the Bistro Awards. So it's way cool that literally a week after Andre de Shields joined us, he's getting this Lifetime Achievement Award. So yay. And yay for us for having him on. See, good things happen to people who appear in the neighborhood. Want to let you know also that Mike Burston, the veteran actor, I didn't realize this, but a couple of months ago, he directed his first movie. 71 years old, he's been doing theater and concerts and cabaret all his life. He directed a movie in Israel where he has, I think, his main home, all about Arab and Israeli soldiers helping each other at the end of the Six-Day War. It's called Azimuth, I forget what that actually means, what that word is, but it's Azimuth. It was in the Israeli Film Festival, and it was released in America on December 1st, 2017. I don't know where, it's not like you can see it online at this point. I don't know at what point they'll be putting it on DVD, but certainly congratulations to Mike Burston on directing his first movie. Yay. And I want to wish a refuah shlema, as Rabbi Sal Solomon would say. I want to wish get better soon to comedian Marty Allen. He's 95 years old, still has been performing up until Christmas morning. Well, see, Jews should not do anything on Christmas. This is why, because he got up on Christmas morning and broke his hip. But he is rehabbing and actually hoping to get back performing with his wife, Karen Blackwell, soon. So you can go on his Facebook page and wish him well. And we certainly do. 95-year-old Marty Allen. And you know who that is. He's the big Brillo-y hair. He used to be part of Allen and Rossi. Anyway, I want to shout out to Mark Russell, fellow comedian. He is still posting jokes at his website, markrussell.net. He's retired, but he still does the occasional concert and appearance. But he keeps up his website, and every week or two, he'll put some new political jokes on it. So among them, let's see, Mark Russell writes that White House physician Dr. Ronnie Jackson gave Donald Trump a clean bill of physical and mental health, or, as it's called in medical circles, fake diagnosis. Yeah, it is fake news. Okay, the Trump administration, by the way, just so you know a little bit more about the Trump here, Trump administration is rolling back the Obama-era rule against killing migratory birds. Here's their slogan: "Make the bald eagle dead again." So, political joke. I kind of miss him without the piano, but Mark Russell still doing his thing at markrussell.net. Want to remind you that running now through the end of January, Rondi Reed has been playing Madame Marable in Wicked on Broadway at the Gershwin Theater, but her contract is up in a couple more, as a matter of fact, one more week. So you just have until, tomorrow. You have until tomorrow to see Rondi Reed in Wicked on Broadway. And then on, what else? That date can't be right, so I won't be reading that. But I will read this one. On Tuesday, Ed Asner, our friend of the neighborhood, is joining Kate Burton, who I met in person a couple of months ago, is a wonderful lady. But Ed Asner and Kate Burton are doing a play about the Holocaust called The Soap Myth, and they're touring it. They're doing kind of a little Northeast tour, and it will be at the Museum of Jewish Heritage in Battery Park. That's this Tuesday. And then if you miss it, on Thursday, they're doing The Soap Myth at the Hofstra Hillel in Hempstead, Long Island. So two chances to see that. Letting you know also that musician friend Gary Lucas is accompanying short experimental films by Curtis Harrington at Brooklyn's Roulette Intermedium. Got a lot of stuff to remember there, but it's a place in Brooklyn. They're showing these avant-garde films, and Gary Lucas will accompany them with his music live. Want to let you know also that our friend Austin Pendleton is playing God in Delta in the Sky with Diamonds, or maybe not. That's the title of the show. It's at Theater 54 on West 54th Street in Manhattan. We mentioned it before as one of those shows that you can get $20 tickets to if it's not sold out as part of the 20 at 20 program. It's Delta in the Sky with Diamonds, or maybe not. Playwright Michael Weller is adapting Lilium into, now Lilium is that Hungarian play that they based the musical Carousel on. Well, he's doing his own adaptation. It's called Jericho, and he's reset it in Coney Island. It's being done at the Attic. Well, the Attic Theater Company is doing it at the Wild Project on East 3rd Street now through February 10th. And now through the middle of February in London, if you happen to be there, go to the Park Theater and see Rothschild and Sons, which is co-written by our friend Sheldon Harnack and stars Robert Cuccioli as Baron Rothschild and how he and his sons grew up in business in anti-Semitic, I guess it would have been Vienna. Okay, or been a while since I've seen the original Rothschilds. Anyway, and I didn't see the original Rothschilds. I saw off-Broadway revival of it. Anywho. The Chekhov Dreams is at the Beckett Theater. That's why I remember the Chekhov Dreams, because my cousin, Scott Aronow, is the set designer for the show. It is at the Beckett Theater through February 17th. Through February 24th, in Palm Desert, California, you can see our friend Kathy Garber. She was the young actress then in Family Affair. Now she's appearing in Dinner at 5. And check this out. Her co-stars include Chris Knight, who played Newman in Seinfeld, and Larry Thomas, who played the Soup Nazi. So, or Chris Knight wasn't Newman. Chris Knight was one of the Brady Bunch guys. He's in there too. Well, anyway, look for it. It's in Palm Desert, California, and features Kathy Garber in Dinner at 5. Our friend Galinsky is starring in the play that he wrote, The Bench, directed by our friend J.O. Sanders. That's happening at the East Village Playhouse through the middle of April. On TV, make sure to check out Linda Lavin, our friend in the CBS sitcom 9JKL. And now moving back to Broadway, all these Broadway shows written or co-written by friends of the neighborhood, including Aladdin, I'll do these in a short way. Aladdin, Alan Menken. The Band's Visit, David Yazbek. Beautiful, the Carole King musical, Douglas McGrath. A Bronx Tale, Chaz Palminteri, Alan Menken, and Glenn Slater. Come From Away, Irene Sankoff and David Hine. Daniel Breaker is playing Aaron Burr in Hamilton. And Glenn Slater co-wrote School of Rock. Finally, Jim Caruso's Cast Party every Monday night at Birdland, reminding you that Evan Seplow founded and runs a New York nightlife website called StageBuddy.com. Dr. Demento still doing brand new Dr. Demento shows at drdemento.com. Eva Heinemann hosting High Drama on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. And, of course, Charlie Gross and Leslie Hoban Blake co-hosting Two on the Aisle on that same network. Just go to mnn.org for more information. And finalmente, Bob Cudmore doing podcasts of upstate New York history at bobcudmore.com. And those, my friends, are the friends of the neighborhood. Well, it's about 18 minutes after 11 Mountain Time here in the neighborhood at the University of Northern Colorado. We're doing our Bright Shadows episode of Dave's Gone By, and yes, we're still here, and I want to hear from you. davesgoneby@aol.com is a great way to write to me. davesgoneby@aol.com, or if you're a friend on Facebook, as more than 4,400 people are, please drop me a message there. We've got one more segment for you. We're going to end, unfortunately, the show a little early today, just because I have to run and be somewhere at noon. But not before we do another segment, our In the News Saturday Segue. So yeah, we're doing only one Saturday Segue. We're not doing Dave's Big Dictionary this week. Well, we'll have a more rounded, normal show next week. But here, we're still going to play some music for you, and it's called an In the News Saturday Segue because your job is to try and guess why I'm playing the songs I'm playing. What do they have to do with stuff that's been going on in the world, in the country, current events? Is it the song title? Is it who's singing the song? Is it the band? Is it the theme of the song? So we're going to start off with solo Colin Meloy, or is it Meloy? The Decemberists guy. And, well, I can't give it away. That's the whole point. But here he is on Dave's Gone By.
It's called The Gymnast High Above the Ground. Gymnast high above the ground. Limbers up and falls timber down. Ankles flame and all tight. Gymnast lying hands wide. Lanky, your long sister lay. Waiting out this long light brigade. Prayed for snow a long time. Lanky, your long hands are by.
Bit of Colin Meloy there. Colin Meloy. Again, apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. Also apologizing for truncating the songs in this Dave's Gone By Saturday segue of songs in the news, but we're trying to get them all in time, and also just we're going to try them one after the other. Did you guess why I played Colin Meloy doing The Gymnast High Above the Ground from Colin Meloy Sings Live from 2008? Big news this week, Larry Nassar, Doctor to the Stars, well, female Olympic gymnastics stars, that is, was sentenced to 40 to 175 years in prison for touching and doing bad things in his examinations of all these Olympic female hopefuls. The judge said, quote, "I just signed your death warrant, especially since Nassar is already doing 60 years for child pornography." More than 150 victims came forward. Speaking of, he would penetrate them digitally during routine injury exams. Not sure how you go from like a bad thigh or calf muscle to higher up. But anyway, now the spotlight is also falling on Michigan State University over how they handled or did not handle complaints against Larry Nassar and USA Gymnastics. It did cause the resignation of MSU's president this week, and they're going to be hashing this out for a while because the complaints began a long time ago against Nassar. And a year and a half ago, the president put out a letter that they're looking into it. They're doing, and how many other shoes are going to fall in terms of other sports doctors and trainers and coaches like this? But anyway, we played The Gymnast High Above the Ground by Colin Meloy. And now let's, I don't want to repeat myself, but I don't want to repeat myself. So let's repeat myself. Here's The Fall.
Right noise! Cause we did,
Yeah, in case you didn't get that there, the name of that song is Repetition. I shouldn't have given that away, though. That was by The Fall. But if you know anything about The Fall, you're going to recognize that Sprecht singing of Mark Smith, lead singer and writer for The Fall, who, actually, here's the bad news. The reason we played the song is that he passed away this Wednesday at the age of only 60. He was more a ranter than a singer, but I mean, The Fall put out 32 albums without ever having really a true chart hit. Smith, when he was young, he was influenced by bands like 13th Floor Elevator and, of course, Captain Beefheart, because who hasn't been influenced by Beefheart? He tried out for other groups who told him he couldn't sing. Once he was in the band and they established their style, his wife, Brix, a guitarist, also became a part of the band. They married, they divorced, but she stayed with the group for a while. Smith was an irascible character. According to the Rolling Stone obituary, he was arrested in 1998 on charges of domestic assault while the group The Fall were on tour in the United States. He had allegedly kicked, punched, and choked his girlfriend at the time, Fall keyboardist Julia Nagel, a week after she reportedly blackened his eye with a telephone. So there's a rock and roll relationship right there. Smith pleaded not guilty, but he was ultimately ordered to undergo anger management and counseling for alcohol abuse. So somebody truly living the rock and roll punk life until he is no more. Mark E. Smith of The Fall died at 60 this past week. And I tried to, I'm not a fan. I didn't know their work, so I went scoping about, and that's the catchiest song of theirs that I could find. And it is 4.5 minutes long, so I spared you more repetition. But anywho, farewell to Mark E. Smith. Let's get to some Broadway, not your typical Jerry Herman, Hello Dolly kind of Broadway. This is much more recent Broadway from a show that was only, I can't believe it was 8 years ago. The show is Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson, but why am I playing this song?
Gentlemen and ladies, the gracious famous city. Just listen if you've time to spare while I represent it. And for the opportunity, come save yourself quite lucky. For it's not often that you see a hunter from Kentucky. Oh, Kentucky, the hunter of Kentucky. Oh, Kentucky, the hunter of Kentucky. In Jackson, he was wide awake and was not scared of trifles. For well, he knew what aim we take with our Kentucky rifles. He led us down to Cypress Swamp. The ground was low and mucky, and there stood John Bull and Pop. Here was old Kentucky. Oh, Kentucky, the hunter of Kentucky. Oh, Kentucky, the hunter of Kentucky. Oh,
Okay, so we kind of get what that song is about. It's from Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson, the 2010 off-Broadway cast there. The Hunters of Kentucky was the song, and that has to do with what happened in Kentucky, as it's been happening in so many schools this year so far. I think it was the 11th incident of a shooting in a school so far in 2018. A 15-year-old boy was charged with 2 counts of murder and 12 counts of assault when last Tuesday he opened fire on the school, killing 2 people and wounding 18 others. The only thing I don't understand is how you have these charges of 2 counts of murder. Okay, he killed 2 people, right? And then 12 counts of assault when he wounded 18 others. Wouldn't that be at least 18 counts of assault? I don't know how the lawyers do these things. But anyway, that's why we played The Hunters of Kentucky. And now maybe you can tell me why we're playing Christine Ebersole singing this tune.
I'm tired of keeping up with the economic trends and the universal problems that perplex. Oh, tell me, where can I find a man who condescends to show an interest in sex? Affairs of heart mean nothing to men of late. It seems they only go for affairs of state. It used to be that a girl could get away with aren't you wonderful? But the economic situation has changed all that. It used to be all you never have to say was aren't you wonderful? And a man would show his adoration and you sat pat.
So a number there going back, well, in one way it's going back to 1936, to the Ziegfeld Follies of 1936, when that song originally debuted. But that is, of course, a much more recent recording, the 1999 Encores cast of the Ziegfeld Follies of 1936 with Christine Ebersole. There, you know her from Grey Gardens and in some of the early years of Saturday Night Live. She was a cast member. She was singing a song there called The Economic Situation. The Economic Situation. Okay, kind of a relatively easy one if you know what's been going on this week. Donald Trump just got back from the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Couldn't find a song with Davos in it, so that was the next best thing. As Trump has said before, he's all for trade, but it has to be fair on our side. And you know, whatever you think about Trump, he usually does pretty well when he goes away to these summits and conferences and forums and with other heads of state. And his line, America first, does not mean America alone. I mean, that's a great line. It's a fair line. It's a reasonable line and absolutely truthful. You can put our country as president of our country first and say it that way without insulting, without shitholing other places, and just saying, hey, we still want to deal with you. We still want to work with you and help you guys out, because America's economy is booming. Europe's economy is getting better. It's doing pretty well, too. So people are pretty happy at the economic summit. So anyway, Trump at the Davos summit over there in Switzerland, which is why we played The Economic Situation. We got one more song to play for in our Saturday segue of songs in the news. Kind of wish I didn't have to play this one, but here it is.
want to hang out anymore with all the people who used to be my friends. I don't want to hang out anymore with all the people who used to be my friends. During the good old times when I was jamming, my friends were jamming right along with me. During the good old days when I was slamming, my friends were always by my side. But when the bad times came into my life, my friends were nowhere near my side. Leo, I heard you, mama. Your voice was clearly, truly good. All the crazy things I used to do, and all the bad things I got myself into. I never listened to my parents' warnings, did not accept anybody's advice. Mama, please don't cry, don't you weep, mama. Wipe your tears, I will hear your call. Please don't cry, don't you weep, mama. Wipe your tears, I will hear your call. Mama, please don't cry, don't you weep, mama. Wipe your tears, I will hear your call.
Yeah, got some tears to wipe away of our own. That was Hugh Masekela from the album Time, and time was up, unfortunately, for South African musician Hugh Masekela. He died this past Tuesday, on my birthday actually, age 78. He had prostate cancer. They call him the father of South African jazz. He was born in a township involved in a lot of youth bands, and so when things just got even worse in South Africa, he petitioned famous musicians in America and other places to let him get out of the country and continue making music. So people like Yehudi Menuhin and Harry Belafonte helped him get out of South Africa. He moved to New York, went to the Manhattan School of Music. He was married for just like 2 years to Miriam Makeba, although they stayed musical friends for a while after that. And he had a couple of hits, one of which we will close the show with. He played with people like the Byrds and Paul Simon, had tremendous influences on bands like that as well. And the nice thing is, once apartheid was over, or even before apartheid was over, he started building a music school out in South Africa. And as the climate changed there, he started getting back into that music, moving away from pop, jazz, and more into South African rhythms and styles and stuff, and helping set up more music schools and giving back to a country that was now willing to accept him and people like him. So we're going to say farewell to Hugh Masekela here in the neighborhood, closing our Saturday segue of songs in the news on this Saturday, January 27th, 2018, our 638th program. And yeah, as I said, we're usually on here not just till noon, but I go overtime. I do so much stuff. I'm usually here till about 1 o'clock. But I've got to run and do something at noon today. So alas, I'm closing the show. Got to do some thank yous. Got to thank my darling and adorable and wonderful wife, Joyce, for being with me for the first part of the program and for all the wonderful things she does with me and for me every day of my life. And I thank her for being part of my birthday this week, too. Got to give a big thank you to Scotty Rhodes, the press person who set up our interview with Marie Wallace. Remember that she is in that one-act play at Winterfest 2018, being done at the Directors Company on West 43rd Street. For more information about everything she does, it's Marie Wallace Dark Shadows Fan Club on Facebook. Marie Wallace Dark Shadows Fan Club on Facebook. We also thank Rabbi Sal Solomon for conducting that interview. For more about him, please go to his website, shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T, shalomdammit.com. You can hear his rabbinical reflections there. You can watch his 10 episodes of his TV show there, even his live stage show as it was performed at the Richmond Shepherd Theater about 5 or 6 years ago. Just go to shalomdammit.com. I want to thank Evan at Seagull for helping me out here in terms of knowing what's coming next to this radio station, UNC Radio, or what will be left of it. We didn't think we would be streaming today from UNC. We are, which is thrilling. We may not be next week, but we'll definitely be back with our Facebook stream next week and the week ahead and the week ahead. So Dave's Gone By goes on no matter what happens here, budget-wise and equipment-wise at UNC Radio. I'm just reminding everybody of that. To stay apprised of what will be happening with my show, just go to davesgoneby.com, davesgoneby.com, and also, of course, follow us here on Facebook and like us and send us messages, please, as well. And also, you can check my Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2, Radio Dave, the number 2. Well, that about does it for this episode of Dave's Gone By. I want to thank you for tuning in. If you missed all or part of it, or you want to hear it in quality audio as opposed to just watching it on Facebook, you can go to the archive section of davesgoneby.com. Probably by tomorrow morning, we'll have the show posted, along with all our other archives going back to 2002. So, until we meet again, we've got pretty cold weather out today. It'll be about 41 degrees just for a high. Going up a little warmer tomorrow, nice day, seasonal, 48 degrees for a high, mix of sun and clouds. Monday we crack 50, yay. And Tuesday, that's the day when our high is going to be 62 degrees. Perfect. And then we get a bit of a cold front. Wednesday cools off a lot. We're back to the mid-40s, and we are due for snow showers, maybe some snow, Thursday into Friday. So the late end of the week, but next couple of days, warming gradually. Today's still a bit chilly, but pretty nice. And by Tuesday, you're going to want to be grazing in the grass, just like Hugh Masekela used to. So till I see you next week, have a great time grazing and doing and gone by. UNC Radio, you'll be picked up on Facebook. Hello.
So, David, my internet's down here.
Oh, wow.
And I can't get on my common drive, so I'm going to go up to the UC and try to grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll be heading over to Mitch in a few minutes. So just keep me posted, okay?
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. See you on Facebook next Saturday morning, 9 until noon or thereabouts. Have a great week.